Gellin. Welcome everyone to the next session of all of the Torg Day 1s. I'd like, actually, before we start, just in case anyone watches this, just to give a little bit of a shout out to another group that haven't started yet, but will be starting soon. And it does appear that great minds think alike, because they're going to be running on Fantasy Grounds, Billy Compton's group, and using exactly the same set of add-ons and mods that we're using. So I've forwarded him some of the links so that he can help his guys learn from our mistakes and hopefully make it a slightly less of a technological learning curve that the rest of us have had to deal with. So that aside,
good luck to them.
Yeah, good luck to them indeed. Your group were in Trafalgar Square for various reasons. In fact, most of you were there for pretty much the same reason. Sean Malloy was driving the bus, which contained the 2 classes worth of year 5 students, 10 and 11-year-olds, that are the class that Kerry's character, Jamie Thacker, is bringing into London to see an exhibition at the National Gallery, the same exhibition that Belle Patel was also going to see. It is an exhibition of modern, contemporary fantasy art. Just so you know, Durak, and Belle probably knows this quite intimately, the content. You're looking forward to seeing some artwork by Brom, various other famous fantasy artists. There's going to be some Vallejo there, which might not be suitable for the kids, but hopefully the National Gallery have gotten rid of the ones that have the buxom ladies that aren't wearing chainmail, at least. There's a small suite of special effects art in there as well. Belle was particularly looking forward to seeing some of the props and items from the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies, because there's a Weta Workshop installation within the National Gallery. And there are various other props and examples of artwork within the gallery that's just, well, it wasn't open when you all started. Constable Caudry, you are on your usual Sunday morning patrol. It's quite quiet. London, it's a strange place on Sunday mornings. It's when a lot of the film companies that want to film in London get to film, because it takes a little while for London to wake up of a Sunday morning. The population of the capital of England is massive during the week. At the weekends, it plummets because a vast majority of London's population commute into work, and then they don't commute into work at the weekend. So it's probably about 20% less a population, and most Londoners tend not to go out very early on a Sunday morning, which is where we are now, which is probably a good thing, because otherwise there'd be a lot more people on the street to be attacked and killed. So far, you've only about 2 or 3 dozen people in Trafalgar Square in total, and the largest population of Trafalgar Square is now the 2 classes of these 60, 10 and 11-year-olds. There was a great rumble. Things happened. You all fell to the ground, knocked over by the rumbling. When you stood up, things had started to change. Some of you had already changed. The buildings had collapsed. Some buildings appear to have turned into a more medieval variant of themselves. Lampposts had turned into oil lamps. One patch of the pavement up to the north outside the gallery had transformed in front of Belle Patel's eyes into cobblestone. But you didn't really have much time to think, as one of the art installations in Trafalgar Square, a massive oversized bronze clockwork lion, was hit by some lightning that was coming from the storm clouds overhead. Some strange red and blue coloured lightning, and it came to life, it animated, and proceeded to try to stalk down 2 or 3 of the civilians that were in the square. Constable Caudry intervened, as did Belle. Toward the south of the square, the Larkins, Pat and I've forgotten his name. Pat and Chris, that was it. The unisex names, so we can't tell which one's male and which one's female. Also affected, were able to calm down the crowd to the south and went to the aid of Sean's stricken tour bus, which was by now not working and teetering on the precipice of the chasm that has opened up in the ground to the west of Trafalgar Square. You manage to get the kids off, and Jamie is in the process of getting them towards where they were supposed to be going. They're heading for the hopeful safety of the National Gallery itself, and that was why they were charging across the open ground of Trafalgar Square. In the interim, you had seen some people panic. They ran to the relative safety, they hoped, of Charing Cross Tube Station, which is the bit that's currently marked with the orange 5 circle to the southeast of the map, only to see seconds later them come charging back out with cries of they're coming from below, they're coming from the underground, they're coming from the tube. And then they were pursued out of the underground by a large group of pale white humanoids wearing ratty leather armor with vicious-looking bows and arrows and maces, who proceeded to start mowing down the crowd. You all leapt to the defense of the civilians you could, fighting them back. As the final couple of lurks remain, Lurk 11 and Lurk 16, as they are imaginatively named, to the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Bell, having taken out a large number of the group with his newfound ability to throw flame, exploding fire, at a moment's notice with a little bit of concentration. One of the 2 jets that you'd seen flying overhead a few minutes earlier in pursuit of a giant flying lizard comes careening out of the sky and crashes into the Charing Cross Tube Station entrance. Hoary blast of flame and explosion of jet fuel, effectively cutting off that.
Ruined all the apples and pears.
Yeah, it did indeed. Oh, no, Sean's Irish, not Cockney, but go ahead, he has lived here for a while. Ruin the apples, he did. Ruin the apples.
Well, which, I mean, okay, right, never mind.
But more urgent than that was the immediate arrival at that point by the creature that was, at this point, pursuing the jet. That creature being the gargantuan, probably a good 20, 23 meters nose to tail, red dragon from Myth. And it lands straight into the fountain as it is there, and spends a second or two perusing the scene.
Which part of Myth does he come from? The north or the south part?
The dragon, I said, is massive. It does have, despite the picture saying to the contrary, its serpentine head is crested around it with a yellowy mane. Its scales glisten in the morning light, and just in the second or two before the beast speaks, you are able to spot that its scales are pockmarked with bullet strikes. There are holes in its wings, and red ichor drips from the creature's mouth.
Ah, that's what I thought. You're not going to have us fight the dragon at full health.
Yeah, we are not at full health. That's what that matters. The dragon perceives the scene in the second. Who else dares stand against Basildracus, the living inferno? And looking at those around it as if in direct threat to any who would dare to go against it. The kids with Jamie at this point are screaming. The 10 is the crowd of kids that Jamie and Jamie's assistant, his teaching assistant Jan, are desperately trying to get away from this area.
I beat your mum with my wand.
God blimey, I think that's a talking dragon.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. The dragon turns its head towards Bell. You dare challenge me, stripling? Seems to be waiting for an answer and inhaling.
What do I get out of it?
A swift death.
But if I win, what do I get?
And the dragon raises its head and laughs, this deep, booming, bellowing, deep laugh. There is no way one such as you could defeat the Lord of the Inferno. Defend yourself.
I've had enough of this guy. I'll shoot him.
Okay. Well, one thing of note.
Oh, so we
The
could actually
instant
talk ourselves out of it.
a well, could have. Bell didn't. The instant the dragon arrives in the scene transfers from a standard scene to a dramatic scene. It is part of the dread ability that dragons carry with them. It's been quick enough that between the end of the fight, well, but essentially the fight hasn't really ended. You've just had one round of a pause. But as it's dramatic, the initiative line at the bottom of the drama card, which I've just shared, is the one we have to worry about. So you do get initiative on the giant reptile, but the let's say the adrenaline rush has worn off from the fight with the lurks and the like, and you all suffer some fatigue. Now, some of you are wearing armor, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. Does your character sheet say what kind of armor you're wearing?
It says, what was it? I think it was Elven.
I think you've got Elven Chain, haven't you?
Which is
Now,
pretty good.
one of the counterbalances to wearing armor of most degrees of protection, the idea of medium armor and up, is that when a fatigue result comes up on the initiative line, you take more fatigue if your armor is heavy enough to warrant it. So the fatigue line means everyone takes 2 fatigue. And we'll just check your Elven Chain to see if it does in fact. Nope.
Robes give any special bonus, or are they just a name?
Wizard robes are just a name.
Okay.
Luckily, your Elven Chain is quite light. It does not suffer fatigue. However, just to double check, what's your character's dexterity, Badger?
8.
That's okay, because
got 8
pardon me. Yeah, Elven Chain has a max dex of 10.
Yeah.
So you're all right. So everyone takes 2 shock, but as the dragon is breathing in, you get to decide what you're doing first. Jamie at this point is running with the kids.
A fireball into its mouth to explode wherever the hell that flammable stuff in its mouth is, inside its mouth.
Oh, yeah, right. Because, well, no, I think that's actually a bad idea, because dragons are probably fire resistant on the inside since they can't breathe fire.
No, I've watched lots of films. They blew up if you blew fire thing inside them. I watched these things.
However, your memories of this cinema or whatever are a little bit vague and fuzzy. You can't remember when it worked and when it didn't, but it's a valid idea.
This is hard. The non-world and this world idea. But you can not remember.
Okay, so you are attempting to fireball the fire-breathing dragon.
I'm trying to fireball its mouth so it explodes that thing it's breathing in. So, because I think it's like glands. Well, I'm hoping. I don't know what
be if you are of the opinion that the dragon is simply some kind of giant biological entity which follows real-world science in order to provide the reason for its fire breath, that may work. If, however, dragons are an inherently mystical beast that have conjuration magic of their own built into their very body, I'm not going to say DNA because that's a scientific term.
Okay.
It could be conjuring it in the same way you are.
I'm going to ask you a question. You're telling me what my character doesn't know, which is films. What's my character do know? If he's
well, unfortunately, you've got this mixed situation at the moment. Either of those hypotheses could be correct.
So which one?
Give me a
So-
scholar roll.
Good. It's very hard to work out what he knows from the other world.
Yeah.
What's a scholar roll? Oh, there it is.
Scholar skill.
Yeah, I got find it. I couldn't find it for a second. Ooh, that's great. I may have to open the picture. I didn't open the picture.
That's a -4.
Bonus. Okay, I have no possibilities. Damn it! Must have used them all.
That reminds me. I'm going to be nice at this point. I'm going to give you all your Cosm cards now. So, Belle, your Cosm card from Aysle. Can you see that in the chat?
Yeah, trap.
Okay. Sean, your Cosm card is that one.
That's so me.
And Constable Addison, that's your one.
Wandering monster. Ooh, maybe we could get.
Another one.
Yeah, but like one to fight the dragon, and then we can escape.
Could do.
It could be a shield bearing.
And
wandering
Kerry is
monster.
just connected, so you are soon to be 4 strong.
I hope he's got a better one than I got, because my one's like basically trying to kill one of my own people. I think I'll kill the people that aren't here.
You will notice that the Cosm cards for Aysle are significantly different than those for the Living Land, and that's because they're representing the different world laws that exist within Aysle.
Okay, I'm going to cast Trap on Chris Larkin.
I don't think you get to choose who it's on. He says, affects one of the party randomly. Okay.
Right. I did notice that, but I tried to ignore it. No, I didn't actually notice it.
Hi, Kerry.
Hi, Carrie, come into the nightmare that this dragon bit. You're here already.
And Jamie's Cosm card is Courtly Romance. So we've got a Courtly Intrigue and a Courtly Romance card.
Oh my
Now we
god.
just need cards, I guess.
Make the dragon love you. You know they can shape shift.
Mate, it's up to you to
Allegedly.
decide how you deal with this. So go ahead and make your scholar check. Was a total of.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have a proper. I was going to use the trap card to get some probabilities to do this.
Well, the thing is, it's like the one in the Living Land. You'll gain 3 possibilities after the trap is resolved.
But the trap's immediate.
It could be. It's at some point in this scene, or this act even. But fine, if you want to play it, go ahead.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. I'm not getting the possibilities now. There's no point. Right, so I can't do any possibilities.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So
Everyone
I've got
can
a
have
card.
one possibility anyway.
I'm trying to see what this card is. Damn it, action.
Actions +3 on what you're doing with the bonus number.
Do I need to put that on myself? The possibility?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, just up your possibility total by 1.
Actions.
Thank you, out Infiniverse.
That's not his name.
Oh no, he's not.
Within this realm, the Lord is Angar Uthurian of the Dark.
Okay, so what was my roll?
You got a
Let's get
6.
back here.
A
-4. Play that action card because that'll give me a +3.
So that puts you in aggregate -1.
And
DC's only 10. Difficult number's only 10 for this.
Dragons
Dragons are quite common in Aysle.
A 10.
Okay, your total was 10. Well, as you concentrate, your disparate thoughts do coalesce and crystallize into a fact. And you do know this fact. Dragons are indeed extremely mystical beasts. Some dragons are known to be sorcerers in their own right. But you are certain that while it may be affected by your fireball, there is no evidence in a dragon's biology of any glands that would enable it to project any kind of flame. It just conjures the flame out of itself.
Blah. Okay.
But you can still do what you decide to do, or you can make a split-second decision and change your mind if you wish.
I will change my mind and cast shield then on myself.
Okay, spellcasting roll, please. Notice that
Alright.
spellcasting roll. If I say spell, well, you can't disconnect because you're doing something that is inherently native to your reality, now Aysle, and the local reality, which is now Aysle. So it might still succeed, although I think that mishaps on spellcasting may have an additional impact. It might not. I might be remembering original Torg on this, but let's see.
It gives me a better shield.
Failure. Ooh, right. No. Okay, you have a mishap which you cannot avoid. You might still successfully cast the spell, however. What's your total with a -8? For a 1? Yep,
It's a
-10
-10.
even, -10.
I'm
I'm assuming you panic and fail to cast the spell.
-10 is 4.
Yeah, you pretty much fail. Right,
Not
on a
gonna-
failure, you suffer 2 shock. So you got 2 shock for the fatigue this round, and then you suffer another 2 shock as the magic energies spark and cascade around you in an uncontrolled fashion. And you're
Okay.
also very stymied.
I don't know how to do that.
That basically means your difficulty numbers to do anything go up by 4 until after your next go.
So a permanent -4 on all my rolls.
Or you can either do it as a -4 to your roll or a +4 to the target number of whatever you're doing. It'll have exactly the same impact. But the upshot of that is you failed.
Mhm.
The dragon hasn't reacted yet, but you can still play a card into your pool.
I want to run away.
Well, you can still move your move.
I'm trying to look what I move at the minute.
Your move is 8. So you can move, each of the squares is 3 meters, so you can move 3 squares. Well, as Bell attempts to conjure Sorcerous Fire and fails, and the absence PCs could help you with the shield search,
Okay, so
because they're probably looking for weapons of their own.
Cards to put in my pool.
so I just roll
Give a
3.
search for Pat first. Pat's find is a total of 9. She's not seeing anything. And give us one for Chris as well, please. Chris's find. Oh, you get a bonus number of nothing from that. But Chris's find is also a 9.
So none of them find anything.
And Chris does actually spot something that might help. The only issue is it's closer to the dragon. It's not a shield, but Chris spots. You see, there's a shadow between the dragon and Charing Cross Station.
Yeah.
That shadow is actually a tall statue.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a weird thing on the How Are the Kittens? Oh, I said the Whisper. He notes that it's a big bronze statue of a British general. You can check, I can Google who he is, I can't remember now. But it is actually armed with a sword. And Chris does note that the sword does not appear to be made out of bronze. But no shield, unfortunately.
So that sword might be better than my thing I already have? Or...
It may be, but a minute ago you are familiar with this area, it being on your beat, and you are almost certain that the statue of Major General Sir Henry Havelock, that is that statue, the sword is part of the statue, and it is part of the bronze makeup of said statue. So if it has changed, maybe the same effects that are kicking off around have changed that as well.
Oh, so I could... Okay, I'm going to let's see. Yeah, I'll try to run over to that then. My run is 10, so
Again, if you're running, you can triple that, so you could do 10
yeah,
squares.
30. It's only 6 away, I think. 7, yeah. Right.
Not only is it now not made of bronze, it's actually resting against the statue. It's not even gripped in the statue's hands.
Right, I try to grab it.
Yeah, you can grab it. It's up there. You have basically got a nicely made longsword out of the bargain.
Woohoo.
Tech 9, bonus +3.
I think that's more than what I have.
Your mace is only a +2.
Yeah, but it does.
Well, the one you've got has the stagger effect, but you are trading that off for more damage. But hey, nothing to say you can't have 2 weapons. If you are doing anything else, you'll be at -2.
You rolled the wrong dice, I think.
Yeah, no, I won't do anything. I'll just take cover behind the statue.
Okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. You can take cover. Probably realizing that discretion is a better part of valor in this part as well. Both Chris and Pat grab discarded short swords from the fallen lurks around them, and likewise retreat to behind Nelson's column, putting that between them and said dragon. Is Sean's not on the map?
Yeah, he is. He's
Oh, yes,
tiny
he is.
figure.
Sean's on the other side of Nelson's column. I just spotted him. So what's Sean doing? Cullen?
I couldn't even find myself. Where am
You can't even do a sort of a ping on here, can you?
If you hold
Do you,
both
do you
mouse
see where
buttons,
the,
you can
do
do a
you see
line.
the husband and wife is? You're just north of them.
I always do that the wrong way around.
Oh,
You're
I'm on Trafalgar Square. Thing.
Yeah, you're basically
Column.
on Nelson's column.
I'm Nelson's column. Okay, well, I'm gonna shoot the damn thing.
No! I notice him trying to sort of draw a bead, and I say, "Whatever you do, don't shoot it."
Bang! I say as I shoot it.
It's a bloody dragon.
Right then,
Don't fucking kill that thing.
Skellen. It is big. So you are getting a +4 to hit. There were a number of seconds of dialogue going on before this. So I'm going to be nice and say that you could have taken the aim action, so you can actually get the benefit out of one of your perks for the first time
Cool.
since you've used it. So can you remember what your sniper perk enabled you to do?
Is it something to do with range? Range penalties? No, in other words, I can't remember.
Let's double check it, because you got 2. You've got signature weapon, which lets you reroll 1s on any bonus dice for damage. And you had sniper, which I think it let you reduce when you use aim on a single range attack against a single foe, she adds an extra bonus die to the damage, which stacks with the usual bonus damage from good and outstanding result.
Awesome. Okay.
And obviously, I say obviously, this is the first time we've actually done an aim. The combat action of aim is you can sacrifice a turn aiming to gain a +4 on an next ranged attack. So you're getting 3 aim, giving you +4. The creature is large, giving you another +4. So you're currently at a +8.
Okay, now I want to try and aim at its mouth or something.
Okay, so you're going to
Cold
do
shot.
a called shot. So decide where you want to go. Essentially, you're trying to aim for a spot that's got no armor.
Yeah, straight in its mouth, basically. As it's talking and giving it large, I'm going to shoot and try and sort of shoot into its mouth and hit the sort of fleshy part of his head.
Okay, I'm going to give you a -4 on that because of the relative size differences. So you're an aggregate +4 currently. You will be getting bonus damage on the called shot, and if you do hit, you will be bypassing the creature's armor, which appears to be significant.
Right then. Die, you weird freak thing. Oh dear. Oops. I've just
Yeah,
turned
don't worry about
into
the +4. That's not actually what it's doing.
Oh. I'll turn into an elf.
No, that would be if you were using a gun that was too technical for yourself, but you're only at one case using your own gear in Aysle, so you only have to worry about
one.
one.
Change anyway, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't do. That's the one thing. An elf transforming to core earth will just become a mundane elf.
I spent a possibility on that then, I think.
I suspected you might. So you're currently at a 2, which
that's a
puts
bit
you up
better.
to a total of a 20, which is your bonus number of 7.
My fire combat's 3 and my dex is 9, so that's plus 12 onto that.
So 12 plus 7 is 19. Add your plus 4 bonus, that's 23. Now, Beslodrakus has a dodge of 10, so you'll get 13 result points over. So it is most definitely a crack shot. Your bullet flies true from your current position and embeds itself deep far back in the roof of the dragon's mouth. It roars in pain, but we have yet to determine exactly how much pain you inflict. So you've just done an extraordinary success, I believe, or outstanding. I can never remember the terminology they use. So you're doing 2 bonus dice damage for that. Your sniper perk enables you to add another bonus dice to that because of your aim. So you're rolling 3 bonus dice of damage.
Awesome. And can I use possibilities to re-roll any of these or anything like that?
Not the damage dice, no.
Okay. So I need 6s then. Come on! Please, 6s! Oh, 2 of them!
Well done. So currently we're on 13 bonus damage.
5's
That's
not
18 bonus damage.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
good.
23 bonus damage. This could be...
How much damage does your gun do? 13 or 14, 16?
I think the pistol was a 13, but you've got it on there.
Yeah, it's 13.
So add your total damage to that. So it's 23 add 13 versus its toughness.
36.
Ooh.
Bypass an army.
Definitely hurt. Beslodrakus's toughness is 21. But that includes 4 points of armor. So that's a 17 toughness versus your, what was it, 30?
36.
36? 36 from 17 is 19.
Does your pistol have armor piercing?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter, you bypass the armor anyway, you hit it in the mouth.
Oh, okay.
So 19 result points of damage is 3 wounds and 6 shock.
I'm going, after I shoot him, I'm going to point at Bell.
Well, what happens is, not only does the bullet lodge deep in the back of the roof of the dragon's mouth, but it's clear that it must have hit something particularly vital as the dragon gulps, starts clawing at its throat, and then just its eyes roll back and it collapses steaming into the fountain.
He killed it with 1 bullet from a pistol, and that airplane couldn't even touch it? My goodness, that's unbelievable.
I'm going to...
take back what I said.
As I sit there shocked from my spell feeling.
Yes, you do. You do sit there shocked. The few people that are still around turn at the fall of this thing and just start cheering. There's not that many of them. There's only about half a dozen or so, but they are cheering, and you hear cries of, "He killed the dragon! That man killed the dragon slayer! Dragon slayer!" By this point, Kerry, Jamie has managed to get the kids to the steps of the National Gallery.
Good.
And you go to bang on the door, and somebody behind opens the door. Appears to be some kind of curator. "Oh, quick, everybody, get in here!" And he starts gesturing to various people to come in.
I do not hesitate, and I try and crowd the children in after me.
Okay. Well, the rest of you, Bell, you can hear the guy. He's now like yelling for people to get into the gallery.
Yep.
We better get
The
ourselves in there.
spell failure doesn't stop me from reacting and stuff like that. So I will follow, I hope.
I'll ask him what's going on. What is
I
that?
have absolutely no idea. The chaos outside doesn't appear to have affected us in here. We've heard some noises in some of the antechambers and some of the exhibition rooms, but we've kept everyone holed up in the administrative offices. Just head around to the cafeteria, and the offices are at the back there. They'll let you in.
Okay, I'll do so.
Okay. The Larkins appear to hear the cry as well. They look at each other, look at the half a dozen or so people that are left out of the group that they administered to earlier, and Chris gives out another booming order to them and goes, to the gallery, people. It is obvious a more defensible place, and you will be safe there until the authorities arrive. Although with an American accent. American, I've got. I don't think Gaz was doing an American accent either.
Who knows?
He was doing a faintly Yorkshire accent.
He was doing a faintly Yorkshire accent. Are any of you doing anything else outside? You still can. There's no requirement for you to head off in one direction just yet.
I want to check if the dragon is, if it seems dead.
You have, by the time you get over to the dragon, not only is it dead, but its body appears to be calcifying. It appears to be turning to, from what you can tell, it looks like some kind of sort of charcoal. Its body is blackening and becoming brittle.
Is there anything worth it from a dead dragon that's magical?
Give me a scholar check.
With -4, okay.
Well, yeah, you'd be very stymied until your next action, so yeah, that would still apply. You're still in a bit of shock.
I'm sure a lot of could use that has also magical properties.
Oh, 38.
The teeth, the eyes can be harvested as far as you know. Doesn't matter. With a 38, you've done it, because that gives you a bonus number of an 11. The teeth, the eyes, if they can be gathered quickly enough, will have magical properties as they turn into gemstones upon its death. Some of the internal organs, but looking at what's already happened, you probably think that the calcification will have already gotten to those.
Ugh. Damn. Oh, there is nothing.
I want to make sure I got my ammunition from the bus.
I actually didn't hear what you said before.
Amelia has. Well, your bus is down. I believe that Jamie saw Amelia retrieve the ammunition, but I do not think that Amelia or Jamie have had an opportunity to give you your box of ammunition yet. So your ammunition is probably in the National Gallery.
Oh, well, I'll get inside anyway.
Teeth.
Oh, teeth.
Yeah, a dragon's teeth will always remain after its death. On this guy, you can probably gather maybe about half a dozen or so, which are about of good condition, 6-inch long incisors.
Okay. Half a dozen is 6.
Unless it's a baker's dozen, then it's 6. Can't get half a teeth.
You can break it. I'll break it. Dragon. If you plant them in the ground, do they turn into skeletons?
You don't know. Maybe a ritual to do that. But your name isn't Ray Harryhausen, so it probably won't work.
Could we take the eyes, or are those disappearing?
No, I think he started gathering them. So yeah, you can retrieve them. They are jet black opals. Despite the fact they were about the size of a human fist, actually a bit bigger than that, really. Probably about.
The eyes were calcified, so we couldn't get them.
No, the other internal organs that you think, things like the heart and the liver might have, but the eyes and the teeth you've been able to get.
So they have.
They're both jet black opals, about 6 inches in diameter.
try to sort of reach in with both hands and pull it out.
You probably, yeah, you'd have to reach in. It would take both hands to pull one out.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
How'd you know the eyes were worse off?
Imagine getting stuck in that.
By the time you've finished, essentially the dragon's body is a gargantuan pile of sort of brittle charcoal and ash. You start to hear noise coming from around the city. Obviously, none of the traffic noise that was here this morning is going on, but you can start to hear screams and cries and sounds of battle coming from elsewhere. One of the fighter jets that remain flies overhead at supersonic speed, going off in directions unknown. To the south, beyond the sort of the blocked streets, you can hear what sounds like automatic weapon fire coming off from far in the distance. But for now, you've only got one place that's relative safety, or you could head out into the city. Depends what you want to do.
I think we should go into the place and catch our breath for just a moment.
We should get these wee ones somewhere safe.
Did someone grab the famous sword, by the way?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go inside then. Because other things inside may have changed. Yeah.
It may have done.
Yeah.
Well, Belle's also excited to finally get to see the exhibition.
Well, wait a
What you
minute.
came here for.
How would you be excited? Did you not say the world would change and you wouldn't lose all that knowledge? Because that's all tech knowledge.
No, not particularly. You know there are. If I'm thinking about it, there's artwork. That's perfectly fine. You might not understand the minutiae of what went into doing the special effects for Lord of the Rings, but one of the benefits of the Weta Workshop stuff is it looks so authentic because a lot of it they did with authentic methods. They actually had 4 blacksmiths, working around the clock to do a vast number of all the weaponry that was part of Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit.
Cool.
Maybe there'll be a shield inside for you.
It may very well be. So the Trafalgar Square is left outside. The National Gallery is quite dark. It does have good high windows letting shafts of morning light in, but the storm clouds that have gathered outside are reducing the light from within here. It is obviously well presented for the exhibition that it is currently hosting on contemporary modern fantasy art in all its different ways. Initially, everyone is guided out of the main entrance hallway, where there is a decent-sized cafeteria, and off to one side there's a staff-only doorway, which you're pushed through, and basically people pull you through into the administrative wing of the museum. You've got the kids in here. There appear to be about 10 to 12 of the museum employees, or the gallery employees as well. But it's up to you to decide what you're doing from here. They ask what was happening outside. Eloy killed it, who obviously wasn't running as fast as the others and looking back in them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a real dragon.
Cool, says about 4 or 5 of the kids, all in unison. And they start haranguing Sean for questions. Was it big? How did you know where to shoot it? Can I have a look at your gun? Oh, Mr. Malloy, says Amelia, I've got your bullets for you. And this angelically eyed 10-year-old hands you a box of 40 rounds of ammunition for your gun.
Oh, thank you there, wee one.
And then without blinking, she goes off and starts bossing some of the other kids around.
I'll try to edge away from the kids.
Yeah. Constable Caudry, you probably are the most likely person to know the gallery administrator, a gentleman called Henry Thacker. and he is here. You've on more than one occasion. You've probably perused the gallery. It's one of those places in London that's can be free to go in. The admission is
relation
voluntary.
to Jamie?
No, pure coincidence.
Oh.
Officer Constable Caudry. He is wearing his usual quite severe business suit. He looks you up and down, obviously quite bemused at your change in wardrobe. Do you have any idea what's going on out there?
None at all. I've got absolutely no. I can't even remember what I was doing this morning.
Well, I assume you were on your usual patrol?
Yeah, I seem to remember something about that, about keeping the peace and whatnot. But I barely
Understood.
know who I am.
I understand that you may have more pressing concerns outside, but as you are the only representative of local law enforcement here, it is my duty to inform you. I believe we have had intruders. Types. I saw something moving in the shadows not more than about 10 minutes ago, up in the exhibition rooms, the main exhibition. Is valuable.
Have you got any shields on exhibition?
One of them looks at you and goes, well, yeah, there's 12 different costumes from the movies upstairs. I think Boromir had a shield, didn't he?
Please? What's a movie?
Lord of the Rings, the book. That you recall. It's a book. Books are understandable.
Right.
Yeah, you remember that. That was the tale of a group of. That was the documentary tale of the group of heroes.
What's a documentary?
A factual recording. Probably written by a bard. Probably the bard was accompanying them. Although now it must have been written by one of the hobbits. Hobbits? Half-folk. No, half-folk aren't that. Half-folk are like centaurs, but little people. Dwarves.
Halflings.
No, there were dwarves in it. Okay, yeah, no, halflings you can probably get your head around. You don't know any.
Do I?
No. I don't think halflings are native to Aysle, so hobbits and the like are part of the Tolkien estate. I don't think they decided to copyright infringe in that respect.
Yeah,
they may have done. They may do something new in this one, but they're little people. Leprechauns and the like might exist perfectly happily.
Oh, leprechaun, I know what you mean.
But yes, they've obviously, this appears to fulfill the criteria. There appears to be some kind of infiltration issue, possibly intruders within the museum itself. Plus, well, you never know.
Right. Okay, people. This man tells me that they've got some problem with some intruders. If anyone would want to, or if any able-bodied people could help me deal with this, I would. Well, I would say I would appreciate it, but it's kind of, yeah. Well, just do it, okay?
Yeah. Jan looks to you, Jamie, and sort of like nods. Oh, I've got the kids. I can deal with them here. It's important we find out if this place is safe or not.
Well, don't you worry, lady. I'll come and help you.
Does your phone work?
This is to Jan. No, it doesn't.
Does my phone work?
Your phone isn't a phone anymore. You have vague recollections of a communication device. You reach down into your bag and you pull out a wad of about 60 letters. You start flicking through them. You recognise the addresses, nice hand stenciled, mum and whatever in there, and they all have the correct postage. Although you don't recognise any of the stamps, You open a couple. Oh, this one appears to have been sent from somewhere abroad, and there are a series of very well drawn pencil sketches that you vaguely recall was your last vacation to Tenerife. But each one of the photos that you previously had on your phone is now present in this wadded envelope as a pencil sketch.
What about the spam?
Well, it depends. Do you fastidiously delete spam emails, or does Jamie fastidiously delete spam emails?
Probably doesn't have time.
Then, in addition to the neatly wadded set of envelopes representing your email and SMS history that's still on your phone, there are some very short messages in there. At the bottom of your bag, there's a series of leaflets and pamphlets for various services, some legal, some illicit, some loot.
I angrily throw them away. How is best to contact the parents?
Have we lost our ability to read if we
No,
transfer?
not at all.
Okay.
No.
I pick one up and I see like, oh, this is from a Nigerian prince. That's
Where's
awfully nice
Nigeria?
of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is Nigeria?
Jan goes, well, Jamie, it must be the battery. Mr. Thacker, Henry, what's your name? Have you got a charger somewhere? And he goes, I'm sure there's one in the office. Give me the phone. I'll see what we can do. Don't worry, Jamie. We'll try and make sure we contact the parents. You go off and do what you can to ensure the kids are kept safe. We'll keep them entertained, won't we? And he looks at the other museum staff, and they're all like, "Hey, looking after school kids, woo!"
Right. Where's the armory?
Mr. Thacker looks at you, trying to, the what? Oh, do you mean the weapons exhibit?
Yeah. Where have you got them?
Well, if you go into the main concourse, then head into the main thoroughfare, and everything's signposted from there. I believe that the weapons exhibit is in the west.
Right. Thank you. We'll be back shortly, or we'll be dead.
Jan comes up to you, Jamie, and says, "If you give me the permission slips, you should still have them. Then I'll make a start on trying to contact the parents."
Good idea, yeah.
You do have a set of, again, neatly bundled. You don't remember them being bundled that before, but neatly bundled set of 60 or so permission slips. I believe they're even on the inventory of your character sheet.
I hand them over. Just don't let them wander off.
I'll keep an eye on them. Everybody, come on. Let's all sit down in the office. We'll find something to do. So, is Belle accompanying them as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you leave the admin area. Again, it's quite dark and subdued. Every so often, there is another sort of rumble. Obviously, things are happening around you. You keep getting that feeling that you'll look at something 1 second, look away, and look back, and it will have changed. But it's not as obvious as it was outside. The main concourse of the National Gallery is reached within a matter of minutes, and you can see it opens out into a large sort of forum area that's quite open, with little pods of exhibits throughout it. You can see a large sign which points you to the west, which indicates that there is the fantasy art exhibit off to the west. There is signs everywhere of the effects of the rumbling and the earthquake, as a lot of the exhibits are lying on their side. You pass a couple of probably were quite expensive busts that have fallen off and are cracked. The fantasy art exhibit he lays on the other side of a hefty-looking purple rope, which you manage to wrestle with and quite quickly bypass it. And you get into the darkened section of the west wing of the gallery. What are you doing for light? it would appear that either the west wing has less in the way of windows, or you can't really tell in the darkness. The windows are currently covered.
Has anybody got a torch?
I'll use my mobile phone and put a torch on it. Here you go.
Yeah, Sean pulls out his phone and lights it up.
Jamie feels strangely compelled to blend into the shadows.
Cool. Well, the good thing with the directed light of the torch, it does indeed cast quite a lot of deep shadows for you. So every so often you're losing sight of Jamie, but she does tend to come back. The section of the exhibit that you're in at the moment is they've opened with the big stuff. So they've opened. There's a series of mannequins that are standing there representing the fighting forces of Middle Earth and other fantasy realms. You quickly, Constable Caudry, you're quickly able to find a decent-sized shield.
So medium shield.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it does not appear. I mean, this might just be testament to the quality of the special effects industry, but it's a shield. It doesn't appear to be made of cardboard, painted with lacquer, or cast out of polyurethane. This is a solid, hefty metal shield,
Ooh.
emblazoned with the sigil of Gondor, nonetheless. The white tree.
I'll take it.
Is anyone else looking for anything specific, or just in general?
Has anyone got like a high dexterity? They might want a bow or something.
I don't know. Have they got an exhibit with Gandalf's staff and see if it actually does any magic?
Give me a find check if you're looking around.
Yep, it happened again.
You're looking around, and you're unable to find Gandalf's staff, but then something glinting off in the shadowy light cast by Sean's torch catches your attention. A small glint of gold off to one side, otherwise wreathed in shadow. You go over, and on a red velvet cushion under glass is a plain golden ring.
Is it the one ring to rule them all?
You look carefully, and it does appear to have runes inscribed around its inner side.
Okay, I put the ring on, expecting the worst.
Okay, well, you lift the cover. No alarms go off. They're currently down. And you take the ring. It fits your finger. Please make me a spirit check.
God. Spirit -6 is 5.
Okay. You disappear.
Hey, where did that wizard guy go?
Where'd that fella get to? Hey, Belle. Belle, where are you?
Do any of us understand the significance of what has happened?
He was off in the shadows. He has just disappeared.
I know what's happened.
You are aware of your current physical state. Essentially, find the invisibility spell, and that has
Oh, there it is. I
happens
see
to
it.
you.
Just got your tail.
However, what I've just sent you in a tell is an addition. You do feel somewhat compelled to be protective of this ring.
Okay. If I take, I basically take the ring off and slip it in my pocket.
Oh yeah, and
Right.
you reappear. The instant you take the ring off, you reappear. But the perk remains. Anyone else looking for anything? If you are, give me a find skill check.
Well, do I have to be looking for anything specific?
No, you can just give me a find check if you succeeded it or if you failed spectacularly at it.
Can
You
lift
might
more
find
than
something.
once?
I would say your inquisitiveness is sated. You can, if you wish to, you can look for armor or weaponry.
Mm,
Weaponry's handy. That's why I was looking for a staff, because all I've got is my hands at the minute.
well, I did think maybe I wanted something like a halberd or something to have in case I need to do a lot of damage.
What do wizards use? Wands? Was there any wands in any films? Does anyone remember?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
intellective
I don't even know what Merlin
ones,
used.
right. Get a hat.
Let's see if we can get a mage's hat then. Hopefully, I don't get the one from Harry Potter.
You're not a proper
You
wizard.
get the sorting hat. There might be some Harry Potter stuff here.
They have wands.
They do have wands as well. Jamie, you're skulking around, and there's a section on the Mort Arthur, like the original Arthur myth texts. And there's some bits and pieces from the Excalibur movie. The thing that catches your eye more than anything else is a well-made. It doesn't claim to be a relic from the movie. You get the impression it's probably just something that they've put together for the. It's off of mind that they've put together for the exhibition itself. But there is a not so obvious to you, but a polyurethane rock with a sword hilt sticking out of it. That you just on a whim pull out. The rock is obvious. One up this close, the rock is obviously fake. Essentially, as you pull the sword out, it doesn't just come out of the hole. It cuts its way out of what is basically a big polystyrene rock with bright sparks trailing off the end of the sword as you pull it out.
I wave it about experimentally.
You wave it about. It's quite well balanced. No sparks coming off it at the moment. You experiment and sort of like spar with a pillar, and whenever you hit the pillar, sparks fly off.
It's a sparky sword. It makes sparks.
I'll keep it.
You search around and you're able to find a scabbard that fits it. There are runes on the blade.
Can I read runes?
You can give it a try.
Hi.
You can make a scholar check if is
Scholar.
JB showing it to anybody else?
I won't.
Oh, okay.
I won't hide it or anything. I'll just.
Oh, I won't hide it.
You can see it if you walk up and look at it.
That's for a second there, but you said, I won't.
I won't show it. It's mine. It's mine. No, my precious.
Oh my
Yay!
God, no! How many ones am I rolling today? And I keep on changing
They're
the dice color.
runes. They're runes, but you do not recognize the language. Anybody else got Scholar?
No.
I'm gonna go dark green this time, see if that works.
Doesn't change. The color of the dice don't make a difference.
It does.
They do. It's science.
Got a 1 in every color I've thrown, so yes, it makes a difference.
No, I suppose. The one thing you do also note, I'll do with you in a minute, Constable Caudry, as well, because everyone else has had their finds and their looks. You are seeing evidence of bits missing. You double check to make sure that one of your number hasn't looked at a particular exhibit before you did, but there is clear evidence of items having been taken. For example, in the Arthurian section, there is a clearly labelled exhibit that says Crown of King Arthur, and that's not there. There's nothing on the cushion of the exhibit. You do find a section which has Dumbledore's wand in the Harry Potter section. It's not there. Generally, it appears that the items that have gone are ones that might have been valuable or possibly obviously magical. What was Constable Caudry looking for specifically? Were you looking for another weapon or something else?
Yeah, I thought I wanted maybe a halberd.
Okay. You're 19, giving you a 6. What's your fine total with a bonus of 6?
9.
Yes, you are getting the distinct impression that somebody did come through here before you and has taken stuff.
Thieves! Bloody thieving. Yeah. Let's snuff out these miscreants.
Yeah, they've got my magical items. I want them.
What was your total?
Well, my total was 11, so 17.
Okay.
No, what am I saying? 15.
Okay. You don't find a halberd, but you do find there's a section on fantasy literature, and there's a bit for like Harry Potter and some other bits and pieces. There's a bit on the works of Robert E. Howard, which has a large mannequin of sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger style Conan,
Ooh.
and there is a meaty two-handed sword.
Yeah, right. I think I'll take that. Then I'll see if I can put the other sword I just got in its place.
Yeah, you could, but it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, well,
And the hands of the mannequin can easily, they're not like solid. You pull the sword out amongst it. Belle, you're searching around. Your total with a 16 is
12. I've already done the off.
I just noticed you did. Yes, well done. You find a group of replica wands from the Harry Potter films. You pick one up at random, and there does appear to be a spark of energy. Not all of them do, though. You pick one up. It's 9-inch hawthorn. You think it's probably got a hippogriff core. You're not sure if it's compatible with you, but you might be able to get some bonus out of it.
What's that mean by bonus?
It means that should you use it while spellcasting, you will get a bonus of 1 to your alteration magic.
Alteration. Okay, that's my diminish.
Okay. You don't have to say any pig Latin when you do it, though. You spend about 20 minutes going through the remains of the exhibit, and again you find more evidence that a number of individuals, probably about 4 or 5, have come through here. There's no clear tracks going back anywhere, but they have obviously taken some items of particular value.
So the only people we know that were in here are the museum staff, because none of the people could get in until they opened that front door.
Yes,
Right.
the only people were well, as far as you're aware, the only people in here were the museum staff or the galleries.
Is the guy with us still? Is he
No.
supposed to-
What? Henry Thacker? No, he's back. He sent you out. You can't have, with the search of this side of the area, you can't find anything in the West Wing of a note otherwise.
So these signs that someone's been here, do they like give us any indication of where they might have gone?
Give us an evidence analysis.
12.
And a quick question to Bell. Reasons for not wearing armor?
That's
being a wizard?
Have a possibility. Getting into the spirit of things. And I will tell you now, absolutely no reason why a Torg wizard can't wear armor, but you get a possibility for getting into the spirit.
So
Difficulty number 10, Constable Caudry. Go for it, Kerry.
is there like a security room anywhere?
You can, not where you've been, but there might be one. Guard rooms tend to be toward the front of buildings.
Yeah, when we met the guy on the way in, was that the guard?
No, he was one of the gallery staff.
Well, I'm
That's a
wondering
good
if all the
point. There would have been a night guard, but Mr. Thacker's not made any mention of him.
I'm wondering if all the TV cameras, the cameras have turned into scrying glasses or something. So we're gonna.
They may have done. You look up, you see a couple of strange devices up in the corner of some rooms and not others. But
Yeah.
where they would transmit to, you have no idea at the moment. You could go back and ask Mr. Thacker.
Yeah, I will actually.
Tracker would be use of find skill. Streetwise, if you're trying to track somebody through an urban environment. Not sure if there might be a survival skill. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
I was
survival
thinking-
is a skill.
I was thinking more along asking the people if they were a tracker as an in character sort of thing.
Chris, Mr. Larkin's with you, and he says, I've got some skill in that area.
Well, can you find out where this thief went to, or thieves?
Let me just have a look, see.
Oh, he's
He
a lurk.
Spend a few minutes looking around. Well, I have to say, these fellas seem to be quite tricky. I can tell that a number of them came through this way, but I can't rightly say which way they went after this. He shows some indications of tracks coming in, but he doesn't appear to be able to find any concrete evidence of tracks having left the area. You're certain there's nothing else in the area. You've had quite a thorough search now.
Right. Maybe just move to the next then.
Oh. Jamie, you were heading back to the admin offices to ask, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're leaving the West Wing. Jamie quickly detours back to the admin offices. When you get there, you find Mr. Thacker, and you start asking him what?
Is there a security room we can look at?
Yes, it's back here. He takes you to a different room in the admin area, and as you're going, you pass the room where Jan and the kids are. Give me a quick perception or find check. It's a bonus number of 1 onto your skill.
10.
Mind and find, cool. As you go past, Jan appears to be nervously counting the kids.
Outing.
Counting.
Count.
Doing a head count.
All counted for.
Jan looks over to you with a look of surprise that you're back and clear guilt. No.
Let him wander off. Who have you lost?
Miss, says Jamie. I'm using all your names. Jimmy. There you go. Miss, I think Amelia's wandered off, Miss.
Where did she go? Did you see
She
her?
said she wanted to go and look at the pictures, Miss.
Right. Well, stay here. I'll.
Thacker turns around and says, well, that would be the East Wing. The Gallery of Art occupies the East Wing.
Let me look at this security room first. Maybe we can see her.
Okay. He quickly leads you on to the other room. There's no windows in this room, and he opens the door, and the entire place is black. There are about 12 security screens, keyboards in front of them, not a single power light on any of them.
Yeah. Well, this still looks dead. Okay. I'll go back to the group.
Okay. As you're heading back through, the rest of you've crossed the central concourse, and you go into the west wing, the east wing of the gallery, where the artwork is. You're looking around. Somebody give me a quick find check. You can find quite a lot this evening. After 4 onto your skill.
9, so yeah, 13.
Well, there is, again, obvious signs that artwork has literally been knocked off the walls here, probably due to the tremors that have been going around. And you hear a muffled shriek echoing from the depths of the east wing. And a shrill voice, "She cut me!" coming from further to the east, deeper into this particular part of the gallery.
Okay, I start sort of jogging in the way of the sound.
What are the rest of you doing? Apart from Jamie, who's by this point probably just entering back into the main museum concourse, so you're possibly like a minute's walk behind them, but you can, or maybe less. Not that big a building. I mean, the rest of you did hear the voice, but it's just that Addison was particularly alert and heard the muffled shrieks that preceded the cry.
I slip on my ring.
Okay, give me a spirit check. Roll again and add.
27.
Bonus number of 9.
Spirit. My spirit is 18. Ooh, no, it's actually. Sorry.
And that's a very high spirit. The human trait maximum is 13. So
11. 11 plus whatever that was.
Yeah, so
I've forgotten
plus
already.
27 plus an 8, so that's a 19. The ring slips onto your finger and you blink out of vision.
Can I go and see what I can see?
Yeah, you can carry on. It doesn't make you run any faster than anyone else. Skellen, is Sean following Constable Caudry?
Yeah, I'll follow with my pistol out, pointed downwards, and advance slowly.
Double time it across the length of the east wing of the National Gallery. Every so often the walls close in, and then you've got like there's no doors, but there's like a portal through to the next section of the gallery. And there's about 3 or 4 of these. Caudry, as you're at the front, relying on the light coming from Sean, behind, I'd like you to make a dexterity check for me, please, as you double time it into the fourth gallery section and have to pull yourself up as the floor isn't there in the fourth gallery section.
Oh, both of us?
No, just Constable Caudry, because you're at the head. You're at the head.
Right. Ooh, got some good rolls. Do 17, so that is 12.
Okay, that's enough. You only need a 10. You managed to pull yourself up as the floor of this room is gone. Collapsed down into a dark and winding tunnel. You do note, as Sean comes up behind you with his light, you can see that there does appear to be dark liquid upon the lip of the tunnel.
What in blazes is that? Some kind
It looks like blood.
If
you're examining it more, you'd need an evidence analysis. Jamie, you catch up. Belle, you've also caught up, albeit in the shadowy nether realm that the ring has thrust you into.
Sorry, what was that about?
You've caught up, but you're hidden.
Oh, okay.
You only get the poetry once.
It's the poetry that confused me.
What, the shadowy nether realm? Damn, I did it again.
So, what is here besides the shadowy netherrealm?
Well, no, the shadowy nether realm is where he is because he's invisible. So the fourth gallery, which incidentally has a series of very nice pieces of contemporary fantasy artwork around the walls. Each one has a rather badly placed torch in a sconce immediately above it. But I say badly placed because the torches are all pointing downwards. So you're thinking immediately, if you lit that, it's not going to work properly. But the majority of the floor of this gallery has disappeared. It's gone. It's collapsed in, revealing a tunnel which heads down. I mean, it's about an 8 or 9 foot drop to the tunnel floor, which is quite steep, and then it levels out and heads off into darkness. And directions you're uncertain.
Has anyone got a rope?
No, it's only about. You could probably just drop yourself. It drops about 9 feet.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to climb up again.
The only rope you can think of, there are probably about 5-6 foot lengths of silk rope, the sort of stuff that they use to hang between the dividers to make up queues and that sort of thing.
Okay.
You could climb back up the 9 feet easily.
Yeah, okay.
Did you do the evidence analysis? Sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, I've got 12.
Okay. You do the usual thing. You look at it, you put your finger in it, you sniff it, and then, oh, that's not human blood. In fact, it's quite strange. You've got a mixture of memories that you know what this is, but you've only really encountered it about 20 minutes ago. This is the blood of the creatures you were fighting before. This is lurk blood.
Ooh. Well, I'll tell everyone that I've found traces of those things.
I must have taken insert Charles' name here.
Amelia.
Yeah.
You're a terrible teacher. You can't remember your kids. That's right. I can barely remember them either.
We have to. Well, I have to pursue them. You coming?
I'll be right with you.
The Larkins follow you as well.
We have light.
Hey,
Let's
where's the
make a-
guy?
Let's make a torch.
Yeah.
Okay, you all suddenly look up as a torch detaches itself from one of the sconces near to the door and floats down to hand level.
Well, like as if moved by magic. Oh.
Yes, most definitely as if moved by magic.
Oh.
because Belle is currently invisible.
All right. Right. Okay. I take my shield and I sort of I don't quite do a shield bash, but I sort of swipe it in the direction of the thing just to see if I'm gonna try to catch the.
Give us a melee weapon attack with a -4 because you're trying to hit a small target.
That's yeah.
What's
I
he
fail
trying to
that.
hit?
Trying to bat at the torch, but you're currently holding it in your hand.
Yeah, I fail that.
Okay. You jump backwards, Belle, as Constable Caudry sees you retrieve the torch, and then tries to swipe at the torch in your hand, but you manage to pull it back. The torch literally pulls itself out of the way.
Throw the torch at him. Her.
Ow! What the? I think this torch is magic.
Give me a find check.
You find the torch.
And Belle, I need you to make me a stealth check.
Ooh, I don't
With a
have
+2.
stealth. I don't have stealth.
It's favoured.
I just roll 2 dice and do dexterity.
Well, you roll 1 dice. If you don't get a decent roll, you can choose to roll a second.
Okay. Well, that looks good. I don't think I get better than that. It's that dex, isn't it? 13 then.
Stealth, I believe, is Dex. Kerry, you can confirm that stealth is off of Dex, can't you?
Yeah.
I'm just double checking this one. Oh, you also get a. Oh no, that's different. Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. Yeah, so you're not using the favoured bit, but you're getting a +2 to stealth because you're invisible as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot that. Wait a minute, where's that shadow? I haven't got it written down anyway.
Well,
Oh no, it doesn't. +2 stuff.
No, because you were invisible, that's giving you the +2. It's not the shadow step perk doing that. It's the fact you're invisible. Because I'm only giving you a standard success for putting the ring on. I'm not giving you the good or the outstanding.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, you're able to move backwards. Constable Caudry, you're not certain. There appears to have been a shadowy presence next to the torch, but you were unable to keep track of it in the gloomy darkness and the chaotic shadows that Sean's electric light is casting.
Who's there? What have you done with Amelia?
What you're saying that of the invisible figure?
I believe so.
Well,
Projecting it to the air, yeah?
being assailed by a floating torch, apparently. I have no idea what's going on.
Belle, make me another stealth check.
Because Belle's currently thinking to himself, I shouldn't tell anyone in case anyone's actually watching, then they know I'm here. Ruin my stealth.
Because multiple people are now looking in your direction.
Not a possibility. This. I want to be stealthy. Ooh, 23, which is +8, which is 27. No, sorry, 17. I don't want to.
This time, Kerry, you can make the find check as your.
Why is that? How is he being stealthy if he's holding a torch?
He's not holding a torch, he's thrown the torch.
Oh, right.
Well,
Torch is currently on the ground at your guys' feet.
I
girls.
pick up the torch then.
There does not, unless you're spending a possibility on that.
No.
Yeah, there doesn't appear to be any sign of anything you can see. It's all quiet. There's no response. Belle, are you retreating back into the shadows of the previous gallery and then reappearing, or are you staying?
I thought we were going into the tunnel.
Okay. Oh, by the way, the rest of you notice Belle is nowhere to be seen.
Right. But if he was here, he'd probably say something. So
He probably would. Your wizard
I
is
don't wanna
currently
get into the
absent.
tunnel while we're being shadowed by some mysterious invisible. So
I'll head into the tunnel. Hopefully they'll follow behind. And their light will be behind me, so I don't know. With that, I don't know how it works. Try and
Okay,
stay in the
you
shadows.
give us just do a dexterity check as you lower yourself into the tunnel.
I'm scared of rolling this dice every time today. Two.
Okay.
I don't want to use a possibility for this.
Okay, no, that's fine. You are all distracted by a thump noise coming from the tunnel. Sean, you push your light down into the tunnel, and about 8 feet into the tunnel, you can see Bell sitting on his butt, looking a bit shaken.
What are you sneaking about for?
I wasn't sneaking, I fell down a hole. Or someone pushed me. That's what I think happened. Someone pushed me down the hole.
Well, there's nobody here.
But you're in the tunnel. It's about 9 feet wide. Looks quite rough hewn.
Jamie jumps down after him.
I look around for the special object because I think it may have fell off.
It's in your hand,
Okay.
but it did come off your finger.
Would
Back
it be
in my-
odd to
was it back in my
notice this
pocket?
ring? Like if he's got it, I guess, in his hand. Yeah, that would be.
That would be a difficult find check.
Yeah. Not going to try that.
Is Bell being particularly stealthy?
Oh
with-
yeah, I'm being
Okay,
price.
then
I'm being
you
very
can-
careful with
you
my
can do
prices.
You can do an essentially an active defense of stealth to counter anybody else's attempt to spot.
Wow,
Because it's an active defense, you roll a bonus. You can't get worse than a bonus of 1, which you would still add your +2 to stealth for. I know you don't get it's favoured though; it's favoured still stealth. But if you do roll, you have to take the second roll. Do favoured. Same with you, Kerry, on because you've got the same perk.
I'd like to know his spot because it's like giving him a target whenever I want to.
Can I imagine make Caudry's find check?
That's. Yeah. Yeah. Not too
Yeah,
bad.
you don't spot him doing anything untoward or weird. So you all lower yourselves down into the tunnel.
Someone
you
bring a
just-
torch.
Oh yeah, well, there's a torch lying on the floor in the tunnel next to you. The one that was
Oh.
thrown towards
I pick up a
Um,
torch.
Caudry.
No, I've already picked it up.
Oh, you picked up a torch. Okay.
Then Pat and Chris both they go back into the previous gallery while they've still got a little bit of light from Sean's phone, and they proceed to take about half dozen pitch torches off of the walls. And by the time they've got down, producing a flint and steel out of his pocket that he didn't know he had. Turns out Chris was a smoker. He proceeds to spark, and then you've got 2 torches at least lit. It's up to you if you want to have more.
Well, I don't know. Torches run out, don't they? So
They do. They'll probably last about an hour.
Yeah.
we don't know how long we're going to be in there. So we might as
You
well
don't.
keep some unlit.
Yep, you've got
Using
half a
the-
dozen. You've got half a dozen unlit ones, and we'll say they're on Chris.
Good. Who wants to go first? The dark tunnel. Funny creatures ahead of us.
I can go first if you hold the. If you
I'll hold the torch.
Right. Wait, is it narrow this tunnel?
It's about 8-9 feet wide at this point. Sean, yours early morning. We'll say your phone battery is currently on 80%. Okay.
All right.
So I sort of walk forward slowly with my shield.
You reckon you could probably keep the torch on for, let's say, 3 hours.
All right.
Unless you roll a 1.
Well, that would not be a requirement on that roll unless Surge comes up on the initiative line. So you begin to head down the tunnel. At this point, the tunnel appears to be a single shaft. It fluctuates from about 5 feet wide at its narrowest out to probably about 11, 12 feet wide at its widest. You're not entirely certain of the direction you're heading until Sean remembers there's an app on his phone that acts as a compass, and you proceed to realise that you're heading back under Trafalgar Square. The tunnel winds a little bit. At one point, water begins to drip from the ceiling.
Is it clean water or the other water?
Does it
How
look
are you test?
Smell.
Skell, what were you saying? Does it look like?
the tunnel's holding up? Okay.
It's a bit. Yeah, it's not a lot of water. It's just a steady drip. It doesn't smell. It's not sewage. It's not sewer water.
You don't think the whole thing's coming down on us?
Yeah, the distance you've travelled, it's a bit confusing. You're not used to underground travel, but you're either under one of the fountains in Trafalgar Square because they were on, or you've gone a lot further than you thought and a lot deeper than you thought, and you're currently under the Thames. However,
I'll taste the water.
It tastes charcoaly, like carbon.
We know the answer to that question. Huh?
But otherwise,
You just said otherwise and then stopped.
otherwise clean.
Evidence analysis.
Yeah, that's good enough. You do a quick thought. The dragon died in the fountain upstairs, and it reduced to carbon ash. So, yep, you're pretty certain that that's where you are. You're still under the square, probably I mean, it's a big fountain. You're probably directly underneath the fountain. Your hypothesis is confirmed as after about another 40 or 50 meters of travel, the tunnel ahead of you breaks into a larger space. The space is not lit, but as you bring your torches to bear, you do see an horrific sight. As you get into the main ticket concourse of Charing Cross Underground Station. The tunnel appears to have broken through the tiled walls of the standard underground structure, and it reveals a sign of carnage in front of you. Mauled bodies are strewn across the ticket turnstiles. Off to your right, you see the section where the stairs are has collapsed in, where obviously the jet crashed, and you can see dead bodies strewn across everywhere. Even with that roll, Chris looks around and he points out, hey, some people, well, either they got out of here or they were taken out of here, and he points down and you can see clear drag marks through the dust that's covering everything. They appear to have been dragged toward the escalator.
Are there only human corpses, or
Majority are human corpses. You can see 2 or 3 lurk corpses over by the stairs, or what would remain of the stairs. They appear to be sort of half trapped, buried in the rubble that was created when the jet hit.
Did we hear someone shout out that she attacked us earlier?
One of you did. The only person. Oh yeah, you all heard the "She cut me," a shrill voice exclaimed. Currently, you've got a number of ways you can go, all down deeper into the tube network.
Or
You can choose to follow. Find the right bit. You can choose to follow the signs for the Bakerloo line or the Northern line.
Are there any more traces of blood?
You give me a find or tracking if you have it.
Oh, wild monster appears.
10.
It's been too long since we had a fight.
Okay, Jamie, you see that the majority of the drag marks appear to be heading to the Northern Line southbound platform. Not that you fully understand some of those concepts, but it appears to be an underground road.
Did dwarves build this? Must have been.
Let's go this way. I point.
any route's a route. As
So
long as
yeah,
you get away from we're underground, so we're away from the dragons at least.
I did play the card.
Yep.
Just so you know. Yeah, good.
Need to find something appropriate. I'm not going to throw a dragon at your underground.
There's probably some underground crawling creature that.
Yeah, I'm not going
Cave
to
troll.
throw a.
Spider?
Yeah, they have a cave troll.
Do they?
Well,
I don't actually know what they have, so I don't know.
it's quite eerie down here. Your lights are casting some quite flickering shadows now, and it's actually quite claustrophobic without the lights on. You head towards a set of metallic stairs that head downwards into the darkness. Can everybody give me a find check, please?
I wish I had Fang.
It's a good skill to get. Like, if you just need one. Ooh, I can roll again.
What's Fang, guys? Mind?
Yep.
I've messed up my thing again. Right, 9,
15.
10.
-9.
-9. Okay, there's a
Oh,
brief.
we rolled a 1.
There's a brief second while you're looking around, Sean, that your phone battery or the light you click the button wrong, and the mishap is that the light suddenly goes out
Oh, the bloody thing.
while you're putting it back up. So what did other people get?
17.
10.
15.
Okay, everyone, in fact, apart from as the light drops from the phone, and you're left with the fire flickering light of your torches. You each hear from off to your left a low noise.
Did you hear someone say mum?
It's louder, and you can also hear the shuffling of dragged feet.
I've got a solution to this problem, Fireball.
Okay, you are currently in a, what would this be? You're at the bottom of the escalators. You're in approximately a location that's about 10 meters by 20 meters square, with 2 tunnels that head off in front of you, and a tunnel that heads off to your left, and a tunnel that heads off to your right. The northern line southbound would be tunnel off to your right. The noises are coming from, the 2 tunnels ahead of you.
Oh, I thought you said it came from the left.
Well, you were turning to head down the tunnel you were expecting, and it came from the left,
Okay.
which is the tunnels ahead.
What's one of them 2 tunnels then? Might as well wait until we see it.
It's a standard scene.
Hide.
You could, but there's not much to hide against, but you can still make an attempt. The villains get their go first, because we're in a standard scene. Defend and intimidate, and there is a surge. So, Skellen, roll d20.
Yay!
Well done. You did
Well, that
not
was close.
disconnect.
Ooh.
I swear that setup wasn't there until it said so.
Now, you've seen handfuls of dead bodies still, even down here. Most of them appear to have died through some violent means. Yeah, as you stand still, those of you that haven't attempted to make a hide at this point, as you stand still, you can see 4 or 5 shuffling shapes coming out of the shadows into your torchlight from the corridor ahead of you, as a small pack of zombies begins to shuffle towards you out of the darkness. They do go first, but they aren't moving fast enough to get to you. If you haven't moved in your go, when they next get a go, they will be upon you, because you can see hunger is lit up in their eyes, and they sort of do a double time zombie shuffle in your direction. Give me 2 minutes, and you guys decide what you're doing.
Oh, I'm firing a fireball. I always said that.
Yeah, I think I want to intimidate first, though.
Okay.
I was going to shoot one.
Is it?
Huh?
Oh, you want the card. I was saying that would make it easier for me to blow them up.
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah, you could probably. I mean, there are 5 of them. You're only able to get 3 with the fireball, because that's what fireball lets you do. But the front 3.
So, Badger said he was going to intimidate them first, and I said that will make it easier for me to hit them with the fireball.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can try that.
Yeah, so I'll intimidate 3 of them. So
Yeah.
that's...
Zombies are relatively difficult to intimidate.
Oh yeah, there might be.
What with them being undead and the like.
You go for it, boy. Girl. Sorry, I have to remember your.
How many are you attempting to intimidate? You
3.
didn't say. You're going to do. What was that?
3.
Okay, so you're getting a -2, -4 on this,
That's a 21.
So yeah.
because it's -2 for each additional one. So that's a bonus number of 8.
8. So 8. 19.
Okay, 19 against their intimidate. Okay, that's enough to make them very stymied, very vulnerable, or a combination of both.
I'll make them very vulnerable.
Okay, what do you do? You're standing up and saying what?
Well, how does one scare a zombie? That's a good question. I haven't got a torch. But I kind of just I'm gonna just sort of try to swing my mace sort of around.
Yeah, sure. You act in a physically intimidating fashion.
Yeah.
The 3 lead zombies are suitably, like, they learn and they like rear back away as fast as they can, which is not very fast. There's on. Who's going after Constable Caudry?
Anyone else doing any actions before I do fireball?
No.
Oh, Skellen, you need to be keeping track of your ammo from this point, okay?
Okay. How many
I think you had a full
me?
clip, and you'd fired 6 in the last combat.
And the
So,
girl
and you
gave
had
her- yeah.
the girl gave you a box, which can you remember how many were in the box?
40?
Was it?
I think I did say 40. Well remembered, everybody.
I didn't remember. Anyway, because I don't remember stuff. Fire my fireball. Have I got rid of all them menaces by now?
Yeah. You're very stymied has gone by now. Oh, by the way, everyone's up to full shock as well. You've had a while to rest and recuperate.
What was my full shock? Wait a minute, sorry, it's the other page. Hang on, yeah, I'll find it.
It's your strength, that maybe with a +2 if you've got the endurance perk.
It's 11.
And I should have 3 wounds.
Yes, unless you've got. I don't think anyone's got the perk which gives you more wounds yet. Okay, that's a 4.
Care what he uses.
Oh, zombies possibility rated. No, then.
Bet you wish you hadn't wasted those.
That's 16.
Oh, you still got some.
I only encourage him to change the colour again.
3. Wait a minute, sorry, 16 is 3 plus my. Oh God, what is it? Conjuration.
You're doing fireball, I think.
17.
It's conjuration, yeah.
It is.
Okay.
I've got it right in front of me. 17.
17, and your difficulty is versus their dodge, I believe.
Dodge or dex?
Well, their dodge is a
Minus. Well, they can actually dodge.
Their dodge is an 8.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
you got 5, so that's +1 bonus dice of damage. So
Okay, here we go. Be like skeleton, throw 6s. You bugger, you. Pardon the language.
So what's the damage for that?
Wait a minute. Spell damage is 15 total. It's a blast radius, medium. Blast
Okay,
radius.
so 3 of them take the fireball explodes and encompasses 3 of the zombies. There's a brief flash of light, but as that recedes, you look, and you've burned away bits of flesh, but the creatures are still like shambling forward towards you. They seem to have been largely unaffected by the heat and the flame. Jamie or Sean?
Shoot 'em.
Shoot her. Oh, you did a successful intimidate.
Yeah.
My apologies. Have the attuned card. You want to play it straight away?
Yeah.
Because you'll be drawing a Cosm card, basically, which you wouldn't really be able to spend in combat anyway, so I don't mind giving it to you now.
We meant to copy our cards back over the other thing and all that stuff earlier.
We should have done, yes. That was my bad. You should have no cards in your pool at the moment.
I one card in my pool because I did a turn.
Oh.
There you go. You get Fickle Magic. Oh, and you play it immediately when drawn.
Rolls a miss. While casting a spell has the opposite of the intended effect.
Okay, so that plays instantly. So we have a Fickle Magic flying around.
Okay.
And strictly speaking, no, you failed. You didn't get a mishap.
This card is only for me because the other caster is not here.
Yep. But if there are no spellcasts in the past, you draw a new Cosm card. So that's in play at this moment in time. Fickle Magic. Nice to know.
I'm going to stand beside him when I cast my fireball. So I'm saying.
Jamie or Sean, what are you doing?
John.
I'm going to wait for one of them to approach and then attempt to decapitate it.
Okay, so you are attacking from the shadows, which I believe means that you get a funky effect should you succeed. If you check your Shadow Stalker perk, it does something funky if you essentially are attacking a flat-footed opponent, which these guys pretty much will count as.
It just says +2 damage.
Yeah, that's what you get if you were attacking from stealth, basically. I think +2 damage is funky.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sure, Galen, what's Sean doing?
Well, I'm going to take a shot at it.
Okay. So
Although,
the relative quiet of the tunnel is broken by pistol fire.
Does the Walking Dead exist?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, it's the real world.
Alright, well, in that case, I'm going for headshot.
Okay. So headshots are -4, but you'll get a +4 to damage.
But you're already at +4 because of they're very vulnerable.
Well, that's if he's fighting the ones at the front, but it stacks. Oh, and Sean, you can have a possibility for applying Core Earth thinking to an Aysle situation. Good roll.
I think that's a miss.
Well, it might not be. That's a -6. You're currently getting a +8, so you're getting a +2 overall.
What's your
fire combat? These guys have only got dodge 8.
Alright, in which case my fire combat's 12.
That's a 14. That's 6 over, so you do +1 bonus dice of damage.
You did hit.
Damage is 13. +4 is 17.
Okay, 17 against zombie. Need to get back to the page where the stats are. I'm zipping backwards and forwards in the rulebook at the minute. 17 damage. 1 goes down. That's enough. You basically you line up. The bullet goes straight through straight through its left eye, out the back, and the thing and collapses to the floor.
4 to go.
1 down, indeed.
Right. I'm gonna play Flurry, so I can just act again. And I will I'll target both of the zombies that are still left very vulnerable with my with a melee attack.
Don't forget, Skellen, you can play one of your cards from your hand into your pool.
Oh, thank you.
That is.
And Kerry, you should only have 1 card in your action pool because we should have moved everything back into the hand before the start of the combat, but we didn't. So just choose which one you're keeping in the pool and put the other one back in your hand.
I have got 2 in my pool because
you have situational awareness.
Because I forgot about it. I just remembered 2 seconds ago.
Okay, what's your total, Constable Caudry? Were you attacking just 1 or the remaining 2? You're doing 2, weren't you?
Yeah, 2 of them. Melee combat is 10 plus 2, so that 12.
So you're getting a -2 for attacking 2 opponents, but they are currently very vulnerable, so you're getting a +4. So add 2 to your total.
Yeah, I think that leaves me at what's it now? 14.
Okay, 14. It's enough to get 1 bonus die of damage.
For both of them?
Yep.
Woo.
How much damage does that new weapon do?
Using the 2-handed sword?
No, actually, I'm going in defensive, so.
Mason shield.
Yeah. So that's only 12 damage.
Okay, you move in and you strike them both soundly in the trunk and torso. There's crunches, but they do not seem to be effective.
Wow, these are tough.
As it says, curses. There's still 4 of them about. However, it is a standard scene still. So heroes have initiative. The villains are fatigued. However, undead are immune to stun. So fatigued has no effect. You guys get to go first. Decide what you're doing. Actually, Kerry, because you're holding your action, go ahead and take your shot now. Because we'll assume before the heroes go, you're able to stab. They're not moving forward yet, and otherwise you'll lose your action.
Ooh.
So you strike out from the darkness.
Is that how much of a hit is that? Just curious.
18's a bonus number of 5.
16.
Oh, that definitely hits with it's only 1 bonus die of damage, so roll 1 bonus die. But remember, you're adding 2 to your damage anyway for having attacked from the shadow. So that's a 4 onto the damage of your Vepor.
I don't know what that is.
Well, actually, yeah, you haven't got one listed. You would have had to have picked up. Okay, you would have had your choice of various Elven and Gondorian blades from the museum upstairs.
Well, no, I got Excalibur.
Oh, you got the Excalibur thing, didn't you? That's a longsword, so it's strength plus 3.
I don't think I've ever done this before. What am I rolling?
Or you basically you take that 4 and you add it to the damage of your weapon. So your strength is 7. The weapon gives a plus 3. So your longsword damage is 10.
Okay.
Plus that 4, that's a 14. So you strike out, hitting the thing squarely again across the chest. There is a brief. Have you ever had, you know how you get the not phosphorus, but you know the magnesium flints? You know how bright they are when you strike against them. The sparks of the sword, literally like a strobe in the tunnel, as the sword strikes across this thing's chest. It cuts deeply into the flesh of the undead creature, but it doesn't seem to slow it down any. A palpable strike, nonetheless. Now your goes again. Intimidate trick this round if you're doing approved actions.
Yeah, I think I'm going to intimidate them again. How many are left now? Is it
There's 4 left.
4 left?
There, 2 of them are still. Oh, that was a good point. 2 of them were still very vulnerable. I'm assuming that was one of the ones you attacked, Kerry. Hang on. That would have given you 6, 10. Roll another bonus die. So that will be a d6 to add to Jamie's previous damage because I forgot the very vulnerable state of the zombie. Is Kerry still there? Is anyone still there? Nope, yep, you're still here. Okay, hang on. We'll roll the dice for him. That's all right. Okay, you roll it yourself.
Can I roll it for him? So it'll be okay.
No, sorry, Kerry, a d6 because I forgot that the zombie you were attacking was very vulnerable, which would have given you another 4. Would have been enough to give you 2 bonus dice of damage. So it's another 3 onto what it got. That meant it went down. You did more than 5, which would be 1 wound and a couple of stun. So, yep, not only was it an impressive strike, it actually did. Basically, you cut your sword, goes straight through, severs the torso of the thing, and it collapses to the ground. There's only 3 left now, only 1 of which is very vulnerable. Go ahead, Constable Caudry.
Well, it's not vulnerable now, is it?
Yeah, because it's vulnerable until the end of its next go.
Yeah, okay, right. I'm going to target the 2 other ones then. With an intimidate.
So you're attempting to intimidate the ones that have not been. So you're moving past, relatively easy to get past these things. Now you've got their numbers down.
Yeah, but I didn't do too well.
No, I don't think you did.
Right.
So 8. Yeah, that's 5. So
Yep. You try the same trick, but they appear to have got blood in their nostrils now, so they're not paying as much attention to your
that's
waving your
possibility.
weapon in front of them.
I'm
But you can still get a player card into your pool.
Yeah, I'm spending the possibility.
Oh, you're going to spend to improve it. Okay. 17.
So
It's a bonus number of 4, so an overall 2 because of the -2 for trying to do it for 2 of them.
right. So 2. So 13.
2 onto your intimidate.
13.
That is barely, just enough. So do you want to make them stymied or vulnerable?
Vulnerable.
Okay. And you get a glory card for your troubles.
Hmm.
Belle, Jamie, Sean, who's
I want to do a trick.
Okay.
It's a multi-action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my ring, go invisible, go over to one of these dead zombies, lift it up and throw it at the other one, and trick it.
It's more a maneuver. That's physical.
Oh, trick then? Give me a good trick then.
I mean, you can do that with a good trick would be you physically move in between them, drawing their attention, then you put the ring on. So essentially, and your idea, as your player's call, is probably to get them to lunge at each other. Otherwise, you'll make them vulnerable or stymied accordingly.
No, I don't want to use the ring so they can see it because I know it's keeping it a secret. It's the precious.
Right, I see what you mean. You don't want to. Well, it'd be a bit difficult. You're in the middle of combat. They'd probably see you put the ring on at the moment anyway.
Can I pick up a stone and throw it behind them?
Yeah, you could do something like that. That's perfectly fine. That's a good enough trick.
Then it's not a multi-action, so it's just an ordinary action.
But you're doing it on 2 of them, yeah? You're trying to trick 2, or just 1?
I thought there was only 1 left.
Well, there's 3 left in total.
Okay.
One's very vulnerable. One is you did stymied or vulnerable, Badger. On your last one, did you stymie or make it vulnerable?
He left the room. I heard his door open.
Okay, we'll assume that there's one that's unaffected, one that's vulnerable, one that's very vulnerable.
I'll go for the one that's not affected then, just that one.
And you're doing a distraction tactic. We'll make it more Aysle-ish because you're a wizard. We can assume you've got cantrips out the wazoo and stuff like that. So what you actually do, rather than just picking up a rock and throwing it, you make a minor illusory light, and you just throw it, and the thing like goes past the thing. So it's a distract. Not bad. Bonus number 1.
I've got tricks, so my trick is 12.
So that's a 13. It's enough to make it vulnerable or stymied.
I'll make it vulnerable.
So 2 are vulnerable, 1's very vulnerable now. Okay.
Get a card.
You do indeed.
I needed cards because I'm never getting cards.
Willpower.
Yay.
Sean or Jamie, who's next?
No card to copy over because you can't copy that card over.
I'll go next.
No, you can't put a card you just got into your action pool.
Oh, see what you mean. Yeah, you can't move it across. Go, Sean.
Headshot.
There's still at least 1 that isn't in melee currently.
Right, that'll do then.
In fact, there's probably 3 that aren't in melee because they haven't actually had a chance to go at you since they've been moving forward. So you guys have been engaging them and going back and engaging them and stepping back. Right, so you're at a minus. Are you going to go for the very vulnerable one?
One that isn't. Oh, I thought it was just one that wasn't in combat with engaged.
All 3 are not in combat currently. It's very vulnerable, vulnerable, or vulnerable.
Oh,
the very vulnerable one's easier to hit.
Yeah, I'll go for him then. Headshot.
Right, so you're getting a +4 from him, -4 for the headshot, so you're at an overall 0 negative. 7's giving you a -2 onto your fire combat. What does that give you as a total?
Gives me a total of 10.
Okay. 10 versus its dodge. You hit. You don't do any bonus damage though. What's your normal pistol damage plus 4 for the cool shot?
17 in total.
17 total. So even with that roll, another zombie goes down. As you target, shoot, 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Sean's military training is really coming into the fore here. Jamie, you can move a card into your pool for that. Sean?
Yep.
Can I attempt to use this whirlwind to multi-attack 2 targets?
We can do. Hang on a second.
You've got a whirlwind?
It's a perk called whirlwind. I think
Yeah, the whirlwind perk lets you do 2 things, but one of them, if one of them is an attack, you reduce a -2 multi-action penalty.
Oh, that's good.
So you can combine it with an attack, but you can't get rid of the -2 for attacking 2 people, because it's not a multi-action penalty. It's you can't do it with multi-attack penalties.
okay. I don't really understand, but I won't do it if it...
According to that there, it means you can attack 2 things and he doesn't get the -2. The way I read it from the book. The warrior is trained to hit a large number of foes in a single dance of death. He ignores the first 2 points of multi-target penalty when using melee weapons.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of the other one. What was the one that... I mean, that sounds right. Go with that. Multi-attack penalties. Oh, I know what it was before we were doing it, that it was reducing your multi-action penalty. That was where we were doing it wrong, yes. So yes, you can attack 2 things without a minus.
Can I? Okay. I roll twice then. Yeah.
No, you roll once. You generate a single bonus number and apply the same one to both targets.
I think I missed.
Well, don't count your chickens. They've not got a particularly good dodge. What's your total?
Plus 11. So...
You got with a -8, you're on a 3. You might hit if you spend a possibility, but at the moment, the sword streaks through the air. But obviously, maybe you've got some afterglow on your eyes from the effect of the flare that comes off the end of the sword. You manage to spin yourself around in the tunnel, and you don't hit either of them.
Okay.
So the villains goes. They finally lurch forwards and go for Jamie. In fact, the 3 that are in relative Jamie, Bell, and Constable Caudry.
Bell's not in melee range.
Yeah, no, one of them rushes towards you. The one that you distracted actually does move towards you. So these guys are going to make an unarmed combat test.
That's going to be easy, that me.
So versus Jamie, is your unarmed combat, or your melee defense, because you've actually got a weapon out at the moment, is your melee defense beaten by a 12?
11, yeah.
Okay, so the first zombie manages to get its filthy hands upon you. It is going to do... It's not doing a huge amount of damage for this one. What's your toughness as you just are hit for 10 damage?
8.
Did you pick up any armor upstairs? You could have picked up leather if you wanted.
I assume because it said on my sheet, leather jerkin, that my clothes had turned into leather.
Oh, there you go. So that's your toughness. So include your armor as well.
9.
Okay, so you take 1 result point of damage. It still does something. So 1 result point of damage is a single point of shock or 2 points of shock? 1 point of shock. So it wobbles you slightly, but not much more than that. Constable Caudry is impacted with a 9. Does that hit your melee
No,
defense?
that's 12.
Okay. And Bell is also hit with a 9. Is Bell currently armed?
No.
What is your
Unless-
unarmed defense?
9.
So it does hit you. What's your
Well,
toughness including armor?
I play my bodyguard perk. to
Well,
save an
please
extra
explain
4.
what that does.
It basically lets you take once per turn. It lets you take a hit for an ally.
Cool. So you interpose yourself.
Yeah.
Does it say that the hit just is automatically on you and you apply your toughness to it?
Well, that's what I assume. Well, also my I guess my defenses. But I'm gonna check.
See with the cards. It damage affects her normally. Once it's determined an ally has been hit by a physical attack range or melee, the bodyguard may direct the attack to herself instead. The damage affects her normally. She may do this once per turn. Basically, if you hit me, the damage hits her.
Right. So it doesn't. So it ignores my defense.
Goes for your toughness, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so 9 versus your toughness.
My toughness is 11.
So that not 6 greater than, so 1 point of shock.
It's far better than what my defense was. My
Yes,
toughness
it probably was.
is only 6.
Okay, so that's all 3 of the zombies.
Zombies?
Yep.
The high thing I've got, my defense is run. It's got 24.
So let's see if we can't. Well, the battle is mine is obviously what the zombies are crying out as the heroes suffer a setback and the villains go first. So to begin with, the zombies press their attack. So we have 1 on Jamie, which gets nowhere near, and the 2 that remain are now both on Constable Caudry, which means we're getting a many on 1 attack.
I'm gonna
Which-
defend.
Cool. So you want to make an active defense. +1 to your defense.
Yeah.
Now, the idea of a many on 1 is it's a combined action. I just gain a bonus number to the attack. So it's the normal attack that they have, but I'm getting a bonus number of 1 for 2 of them being involved. Oh, that's a 19. That's a bonus number of 6. Goes up to a 7. On to their unarmed. That's an 18. What is your defense, including your bonus number of 1, Caudry?
13.
So that is 6 result points of damage as the zombies tear into you. That would be 1 wound and 2 shock.
Damn. That is 2 and 5.
Okay, remember that any actions you do are at -1 a wound that you have taken.
Wait, so defend doesn't. That only counts as successful if they miss, right?
If they miss, yes, so you don't get the card, unfortunately, for the defend because they hit you.
Ooh.
But it was good because if you hadn't done that, they would have hit you harder and possibly done a bonus dice of damage, which they didn't get.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? No, hang on, I've not even rolled the damage. I've done that completely wrong, didn't I? They got 6 results plus 1 bonus die of damage. I skipped 1 entire step. So their damage of 10 plus 1 bonus die. 11 versus your toughness.
Which is 11.
So that's 1 shock. Still
You
got
went
hit, but
back.
a lot less damage. A lot less damage. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, so I only take 1 shock, not 1 wound.
Yes, not 1 wound and 2 shock. However, you guys are setback, and that represents bad luck or wavering morale for the affected side.
What are you going to do to us?
Okay, are currently how many zombies? There are 3 left, aren't there?
don't shoot into melee if I'm, if I'm with.
Don't worry about it. My fireball
Helen?
ignores Melia totally.
Sean's firing from the escalators, yeah?
Sure.
You hear a noise behind you, and you turn, and in the light that the torches are giving, because you haven't put your phone back on yet, you can see another two figures, I would say shambling down towards you, but one of them is literally pulling itself bodily down the escalator, and the other one, the reason you heard it is you heard a crash behind you. Obviously, one of them was crawling down, had stumbled and fallen, and is just standing up, literally right behind you.
Damn
So
it,
they
there's
don't
more
get
of
an
them.
attack this round, but there are two more zombies from behind.
Some up behind us.
Thank
And
you.
it's now your goes.
Oh, we can go? Okay, yeah.
We'll say
Well,
that to make things simple, Belle's also standing at the bottom of the escalators, but you're standing at the bottom of what would be the up escalator. Whereas Sean's standing at the bottom of what's the down escalator. So you've currently got the big escalator central partition between you and those two new zombies.
I'll trick the two new zombies that came up behind Thingamajiggy. That way, what's that, -2 for a trick because of
If
the
you're doing it on both, yeah. So what you're doing, you're going to here, zombie, 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 but drag them, essentially try and distract them back up the escalator, with you having that relative 3-foot barrier of safety between you.
I'm just going to distract them.
Get creative with your descriptions. Just
I want,
distract
wait,
them.
no, what I mean is, you were saying there, I was distracted by come and charge me, and I'm saying, no, I'm not going to distract them to attack me. I'm the weakest person here. Let's see, how, you said they're at the bottom of the escalator. Am I at the top of the escalator?
No, you're at the bottom. You know escalators come in pairs.
Yep.
You're on the other side. You're on the other escalator. So you and Sean are both at the bottom, but you're essentially at the bottom of a non-functioning up escalator, while Sean is at the bottom of a non-functioning down escalator.
Oh, okay.
And if they're not working, I suppose, but it doesn't matter. They're both exactly the same, aren't they? Because it's only the movement of an escalator that differentiates it.
Yeah. Okay. If I do that magically thing again, and
You're gonna
make
try and
sounds as if sound there were
something's
more
behind
people
them.
upstairs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Minor illusion, we'll call that.
Right.
High magic axiom of Aysle. If you're a masterful caster, you should be able to do things like
Not
that.
bad roll.
Bonus number of 3.
-2, which is 1, which is trick is 12.
That's a total of 12, yeah?
I'm good
Do
at
you want to
trick.
make them just vulnerable or just stymied?
I want them just stymied. That's the one that makes them hit less.
Stymied.
Yeah,
Puts
I'll
their
go for
target numbers
stymied.
up. Okay, cool. You can put a card into your pool and you get leadership.
Leadership does something nice.
It does. Constable Caudry, Jamie, Sean, who's next?
I did defend, didn't I?
You did, so you haven't got to go unless you've got a flurry card. Jamie or Sean?
I'll spin around and shoot one of the ones behind me.
Okay. Pistols you can use relatively easily in close combat. It's one of the only size weapons you can.
A headshot again, as soon as they're
Okay.
working so well.
Oh.
-4, I'm at 0, am I?
Well, no, because you were getting bonuses before because you were fighting ones that were vulnerable. These ones aren't. They're stymied, which makes it harder for them to do things rather than harder for you to do, easier for you to do things. So you're an aggregate -4 for the headshot. With your 5, that gives you another -4, so you're at a -8. So your shot, unless you spend a possibility, your shot's going to go wide.
I'll spend a possibility then. There you go, that's a bit
17, that
better.
gives you a 22, so that gives you an 8. -8 for the, well no, -4, bonus of 4 to your fire combat.
So I'm at a +4 to my 12, gives me a 16.
16 versus their dodge is 8 result points, so that's enough to do a bonus die of damage. Roll the bonus die of damage.
After
5
that,
onto the
smelly
pistol.
thing.
That's an 18, isn't it? You got 13 on the pistol, haven't you?
That's it.
Yep. In the head. 3 for 3 to your metaphysical ability to change reality. Jamie.
I'll attempt to decapitate the one.
Okay, so you're doing a headshot as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I use adrenaline to?
You most certainly can. You're in melee. You could also do an all-out attack if you wanted. Would make you easier to hit.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay. So you're going to get +3 from your adrenaline to your bonus number, and +4. So you're at a 7 to begin with. Your 18 gives you a bonus number of 5. So 12 onto your melee weapon.
Oh, 11. So
23. 23 versus their unarmed is 12 result points of damage. So you're rolling. That's enough to get 2 bonus dice. Every 5 over gives you a bonus die of damage. So I roll 2d6, and they're exploding on 6s. 9. You get a +4 from the called shot. That's a 13. Add that to your basic sword damage.
which I forget.
It's a
Strength?
10. Strength +3.
10.
Needless to say, you disconnect one of the zombies' heads from its body, and the head goes rolling off into the dark shadows of the tunnel, and the body collapses lifeless once more to the ground. So this is where Kerry is hoping that the heroes get initiative in the next round, because if they don't, you're very vulnerable. The result is they hesitate, and standard scene. So the heroes get a go before the villains. So you will not be very vulnerable, Kerry, when the villains come around. Fatigue doesn't affect the villains because they're undead still.
Guess what I'm doing, guys?
Yeah, try and trick them again.
Gonna trick them again. And this time I'll do all 3 because I'm building up my confidence how good at tricking I am. And I go, I make this thing like something banging on the ceiling, because the ceiling's probably just that's foamy stuff, isn't it, or something like that? What is the ceiling?
It's tiled concrete, I believe.
Okay, I give the impression that something.
Charing Cross doesn't have drop ceilings or anything like that.
Okay. Well, can I give the impression of something like banging on the ground?
Yeah,
on
you can
that ground, like
You're making a distraction. You're going to be at a -4 for doing it on 3 of them. So you're currently at a -12.
I am perfectly happy with that result. Wait a minute, -12 plus my 11 is 1. Nope,
-1.
Does that pass there, whatever it is? I
Nope.
think it does. Nope.
Oh. Their trick defense is a 10.
There's no possibility, so that's it.
Okay. Basically, what happens is you try, but the magic isn't coming together. Wasn't a mishap though. Who's after Bell's attempt?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try to.
Okay, Constable Caudry.
Wait, I'm not trained in trick. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to melee attack.
That's a bonus number of 1.
1, so that leaves me at 11.
Which hits. They've got an unarmed defense of 11.
Ooh. Right, remember that's stymied.
One of them is. I don't think any of the ones at the bottom have got any more effects on them because that would have worn off last round.
Yeah, I'm just saying one of no, the one I hit because I used the mace.
They're immune to shock, so it doesn't impact them.
Oh. Wait, so they can't be stymied?
Oh, well, they can't be stunned, and the mace effect is a stun effect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I hit the one that's the most damaged, I guess.
Okay, we'll pick either one because the moment they're both looking much of a muchness. They've got burn marks on them, sliced bits on them. It hasn't actually impacted them though. Number 2, we'll say.
Yeah.
And your damage, because you're not getting any bonus dice on this one.
Yeah, that's only 10.
Okay, so you basically you've got your shield up in defense, and this thing is just trying to get at you around the shield, and you're just desperately trying to beat it back with the shield and combination of the mace. You're managing to keep it off you, but it's not reducing its vigor or fervor to attempt to get toward the blood that it's almost tasting. Jamie, so I think Sean's already shot, didn't he? Or was that last?
That was last round, I think.
That was last turn.
Okay, so Jamie or Sean, up to you guys what you do.
I'm going to attempt to repeat my last action.
Okay, so the other one at the bottom that's not been attacked this round, that would give you a -2 so far.
9. That miss.
You do miss. Unless you... Oh, no, you said you were doing an all-out attack, didn't you? You said the same as last round.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah. Which would give you a +4 to your melee attack, which would give you an overall +2.
Does that hit?
What's your melee combat +2?
13.
That does hit, because their melee, their unarmed defense is an 11. Not enough to do bonus damage, so what's your normal damage +4 for the all-out attack?
Oh, +4. Is 14, right? 14.
14. Okay, you hit, but you don't think you're taking it down. Again, your sword is hitting, you're hacking away at obviously bits of the creature, but they're not bits that are keeping it mobile currently. Sean, you've got one more on the stairs behind you.
That's the fellow I'm going for then.
Roll again and add.
Headshot as usual.
Okay. That's a bonus number of 1, so you're at a -3 currently.
So that puts me at a -3 in total, puts me at 9.
And I previously had, keep forgetting what their stats are. Dodge is 8, so you hit.
13 points of damage plus 4, 17.
17, which is more than enough to do a single wound, which is what you need to take them out. Again, 4 for 4. The zombie stops moving. You can't help but imagine in your mind's eye that if the escalator was going, it would be quite pathetically like donk, donk, donk against the bottom of the escalator stairs, but they're not on.
It's a good job I'm here, isn't it, really? All these people running around in fancy dress and that.
Could be.
Anyway.
That's all your goes, yeah?
Yeah.
Constable Caudry, the two that remaining are still concentrating on you. Jamie is attempting to distract one of them back in her direction, but currently she's achieving nothing but more than just like cutting up the flesh on this thing's back. Not enough damage to actually stop it. So single unarmed attack against you with -1. That's a total bonus of 6.
Oh, I'm going to direct your defense. 17, that's 4. So my defense is 16.
16. Their unarmed is an 11, and I'm getting a bonus number of 6, which gives me a 17. He does hit you. However, it's only going to be 9 result points of damage because you successfully defended and prevented the bonus dice from getting kicked in. So that's another shock. You attempt to round things out. So we have standard. The villains are going to go first. The heroes have a surge this round. Skellen, please roll a d20.
Oops.
You're okay. No, you're okay. You're only a 1 point. You're only a 1 case contradiction at the moment. Because everything you're using is native to you. Everything's native to you. Okay. By the way, the guys that are from Aysle, if you were using something that was also above the axioms of Aysle, which none of you are currently, you could also risk disconnection on surge.
So
you'd be a 1 case contradiction.
Do we count as being in Aysle now then?
You are currently under the effects of the Aysle reality, yes.
But it's not a pure zone. It's not a pure zone, though.
No. None of these. Dominant is the worst you're going to come up against in any of the day one adventures, because it takes a while for the zone to become pure. So lucky currently. And in a pure zone, Sean would be the one having the most problems. Okay. So once again, the zombies, because there are only 2 left, and they are still attempting to get around Constable Caudry's shield. That's a bonus number of -1 because of the gang up. Your active defense from last round is still up because it won't expire until your go. So you managed to hold them off with concerted defense.
Ha.
Unfortunately, your active defense is your next go, so you don't get a go in this round with the surge.
Mm.
So Sean, Jamie, Bell. There are 2 zombies left that are currently trying to get at the vulnerable soft bits.
Oh,
Constable Caudry.
guess what I'm doing?
You're going to try another trick.
No, I am doing the maneuver that we discussed earlier.
Okay.
I put on the ring, I go to the corpse, I throw the corpse at the other 2. Because they're both within range of they're both fighting your guy, aren't they?
Sure. What's your strength?
Why did you have to say stuff like that?
Because you need to be able to throw the corpse.
Oh, my strength's only 6.
Okay.
Push. Oh, I can't push it. I can.
I'll let you try. But essentially, you're going to be the effort is giving you an additional -2 multi-action penalty because you are a weak and feeble wizard.
What's the total? -4?
Putting on the ring and a move, that's a -2. And throwing the corpse is a -2. So yeah, you're at a -4 overall.
Okay. Yay, guys! My dice rolls are brilliant today. Woo! Yay! What possibilities?
That's a -4. So you're coming out a -8. Needless to say,
I'm trying to
essentially,
work out what
you
maneuvers
disappear.
Oh, that's 0.
You disappear, move across, and you get your hands underneath the corpse. I mean, they've not been zombies for long, so they're not rotting yet. These were people. You basically manage to turn the corpse over. Pretty much all you're able to do with your strength. Needless to say, it was not a successful maneuver. You do not get a cup. Jamie. Or Sean. Decide amongst yourselves who's going next.
Well, I'll go next then, and I'll take it. Is any of them not engaged, or are they both trying to read
They're
Caudry's?
both engaged, trying to eat Caudry's face.
Don't worry. I got this. Just stand still. Headshot. Oh.
It's an even number on the roll. You hit the bad guy.
Woo!
It was 50-50.
I forgot it was 50-50. I thought I was backing me thinking that to miss never mind. Well, I hit the right one.
Number of 3, -4 for doing the headshot because you did it again. That's a -1.
So that puts me at a 11.
That's enough to hit it because the dodges are only 8.
17 damage.
So the damage is no bonus damage, but the +4 for doing the headshot.
So
and as we know, a 17 is enough to do 1 wound on these zombies. So 1 more goes down. Badger Caudry holding 1 off and it's like over the shield, and then you suddenly see the side of its head batter the wall to your left, and it slides down off your shield, and there's only 1 left. Jamie.
I rush at it, brandishing my sword.
Okay. You can do an all out again, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that was a spinny one. So that's a -4, but the +4 in your melee counteracts that. So you're at 0 at the moment.
11?
Which is total. 11's enough to hit their unarmed defense, which I believe is an 11.
But it doesn't do anything because they don't take shot.
Doesn't do enough damage, no. But you still hit. God, I thought you were going to finish him off. There's one left. So next round, I honestly thought you were going to finish him off that round. So into the fire, apparently. Villains go first. You're definitely going to finish him off this round. The heroes are flurried, so you will all get 2 actions. So everyone gets 1, and then everyone gets a second one. For that, the remaining zombie continues to steadfastly attempt to chew the face off of Constable Caudry, and is completely incapable of doing so, because you've obviously outnumbered it and you're now holding it back against the wall. Who's going first?
I think the person with the gun should go first.
I'm going to intimidate it. So, yeah. Oh,
Are you skilled in Intimidate?
I am. Got
Then you do roll
3.
again on a 20.
So that's 34. So 10. 33.
Well, that's enough to get a player's call.
Right. I mean, a zombie isn't going to run away. So.
Probably not, no.
Can we say that it's just taking so much damage, like physically, that it just sort of falls into bits?
I'm perfectly fine. You only need to do 1 wound to a zombie to take it down. As Mithaka had been hacking and hacking and hacking into its back, you basically put your shield up, push up with your shield while screaming directly into the face of this zombie. And you push up in an intimidated fashion, like lifting it off the ground. And then you notice that it's not moving. And then you realise that when you pushed it up off the ground with your intimidating scream, its hips and legs have fallen away, severing its spinal column, thanks to the hacking damage that Jamie had done before, and it goes limp and stops moving.
Yay.
Everyone can have 2 possibilities for the threat of the zombies, thanks to the setback coming up. What was that noise, Skellen?
So it was me pressing the wrong button, so
That's all right. It was quite a cool noise.
I'm not sure which one it is. I didn't know what I pressed.
So we've got VLC Media Player. There's a channel you can subscribe to get the sound effects that Skellen's every so often pumping in.
I'm not really doing very many on this. Just...
But the corridor goes quiet. Everyone move their cards from their action pool back into their hand. Not the end of the scene yet, though, so we don't have to discard down. I don't think. Hang on, we need to get this right each time.
Because I'll have more than 4 if I carry my cards across.
Yeah, at the end of each player's turn, yada 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 yada. Yeah, players pick up all the cards in their pool at the end of each battle and reduce their hands down to 4 cards if they had more than that. So has anyone got more than 4 cards?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, once
nope.
you've done putting them back in, reduce yourself down to 4.
I've noticed a duplicate, actually. I've got 4.
Okay, cool. So the tunnel goes dark. You quickly check left and right. There doesn't appear to be any further sign of any more zombies. So you continue down the route to the Northern Line, southern platform. It's literally only about 15, 20 feet away from you are at the moment. And you get to, at least to your modern minds, the familiar curved tunnel. Issue here is you can actually see that there is a tube train blocking the tunnel going in one direction. Obviously, it came to a halt as the Axion wash took out the electricity. So you've only got about an 8-foot gap between the front of the train and the entrance of the tunnel. So the train's almost entirely blocking one end and there's a little gap at the far end. Luckily, the trail you're following of dragged or signs of drag takes you off onto the track. About 20 or so feet into the tunnel, the side of the tunnel has collapsed away into what looks like a dungeon corridor. This isn't just a tunnel you're now heading into at this point. This is actually like stone brickwork on the walls. But the trail does turn down that tunnel. Are you continuing deeper?
Absolutely.
Sure. Am I supposed to have one wound less?
Well, okay. You pseudo got wounded, but then we realised you didn't. So if that's that wound, no. If it's a wound from earlier, then you might still have a wound.
Yeah, no, it's not from earlier, but I'm not sure if I. Yeah. If it only possibly was inflicted once, then no, because I remember not actually getting it.
Okay, not to worry. The corridor continues on its relentless path for about another 150 meters. Ahead of you, it turns into more natural tunnels again, so more like a cavern network than constructed tunnel. And you see ahead of you, there's a rocky outcropping, and there's a bright golden glow coming from behind the outcropping in the left-hand side of the tunnel. The tunnel continues off to the right away from the glow, but you have to pass the outcropping to get past.
I will stealth up and have a look around the outcropping. I'm still wearing the ring.
Okay, the rest of you noticed Bell's nowhere to be seen again.
Do we see footprints?
Give me a perception check. Find, in other words. Or tracking, you've got it, depends.
Nope.
Just let me know your totals.
9.
Nope, you don't see any sign of footprints. Neither do you, Sean.
Oh, stop trying to spot me, you two.
Is anyone else? I mean, I know Bell is moving up towards the light. Is anyone else investigating?
Yeah, I'll sneak up as well.
Okay, the two people that are sneaking, give me stealth check.
Okay.
Those of you that are invisible, don't forget to add the +2 for being invisible.
Oh my god, I got a good dice roll when I don't need really. Oh my god, I hate you. 6 plus.
Kerry, don't forget stealth is favoured for Jamie thanks to her Shadow Step perk, which means you can roll again and take the second roll instead of that one.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
I'm trying to say a number and I keep on getting it wrong. 14.
Okay. Jamie gets a bonus number of 3 on her stealth, giving her a.
Also 14.
There you go. Who needs invisibility rings? You both sneak forward. One of you unaware that the other one is there. You peer around the outcropping, and you see, quite bizarrely, there is a large, pulsating globe of light. Its shape in constant flux. There appears to be a warmth coming off of it. And Jamie, you notice this rather than Bell. The hairs on your forearms, like the fine hair that you've got on your forearms, is standing on end. It would be the ponytail, but it's tied back.
So, in words of magic, do I recognize this thing? Oh,
Give me a
dollar
scholar.
roll. I know, I just realized. Oh my goodness. This is what I'm suited to. 2 plus scholar 13. 13.
You're not entirely sure, but you have read about in Adventure Module X10 Into the Unknown that there are such things as spirits of light, which could be one of those.
Oh, okay, it's not.
It appears
what I thought it was.
to float towards Jamie and then recoils back slightly. And then, Jamie, you see it float towards an empty space and recoil back in a similar fashion.
I'll sneak back and whisper some sort of floating magical light.
As you're describing that, you realise it's followed you.
Oh, well, I don't need to describe it then.
Just point.
It heads towards Sean, seems to undulate and rob in an inquisitive fashion, then seems to move backwards quite in a calm fashion away towards Constable Caudry. We're going to say that you didn't take a wound, you were being quite badly bitten and scratched by the zombies.
Yeah.
And it proceeds to nuzzle up to Constable Caudry, and where it brushes against your skin, you just feel renewed and refreshed, and the tiny myriad of scratches that you've got just heal over.
Blimey.
As it's doing this, it begins to separate into like 1,000 tiny little spots of light, like a dandelion, if you blown it. Each of the individual bits is touching your skin, and that's where the healing's coming from. It seems to dim slightly as you feel the tingling sensation, and then it reforms dimmer than it was before, and then glides back towards the outcropping that it came.
Ooh.
So, does that mean the blood? Oh, I didn't do the tracking. Nor what I was about to say.
Yeah, there was no vampiric sucking.
No, I was thinking more along the blood trail would have ended if she had healed.
Well, Chris Larkin looks down and he points out the tracks. While the thing goes, when the sphere goes back behind the outcropping, Belle, you're still in position to see behind the outcropping. You see it heads down towards a tiny little hole, probably about 4 or 5 inches high, a little alcove, tiny little alcove. And you see as it heads towards the hole, and you can now see in the light a little slender tube that it proceeds to just absorb itself into. And the tube is left glowing slightly as it's passing.
Okay.
Giving off the light of a weak torch.
Do you mean when you say tube? Do you mean like a wee tunnel into the wall?
No, there's a long thin tube of some material in a hole, in an indentation in the wall that it's gone into.
Okay, I try to reach down and grab this little tube to carry it. Is that what you mean?
You reach down, you pick it up, and you realise you become visible again.
Hey.
That does mean that you've just reappeared in front of everybody, because the outcropping isn't big enough to hide you.
What have you been up to?
I don't know. Some light creature sucked me into it, and then I just appeared here. I don't know what happened. You're a bluffing in this.
You can try and make a persuasion if you want. I wouldn't normally worry about interaction and tact. You can decide whether you believe him or not. But if you want to make a persuasion to give them more of an impetus,
waving my
players,
hand.
you've got agency to determine whether you decide to believe in my character or not.
I don't even have persuasion.
It's off charisma if you don't have it.
Oh, my charisma is 6. I'm so charisma. Wow. There you go.
Yeah, his story doesn't really. Yeah.
But he could just say anything at this point. He could just say, well, magic.
He could do, but he didn't.
Who knows what the hell's going on?
Yeah, but unfortunately he didn't. So you can decide whether you believe him or not. But that was his story.
Would we know that he's a level 1 character, so he only has 3 spells?
No, you're not a wizard. You know about magic, but you're not a wizard. So the mysteries and wonders of magic, to the degree he knows them, are beyond you. But everyone in Aysle has a small amount of magic. You haven't had a chance to come into that room.
You don't know my spells. Wouldn't see
The
one.
corridor ahead bears right and then splits in two. Both of them, again, they're going more natural corridor lining.
Do we still see those tracks leading down any of them?
Is there any explanation on why the tube stopped the ring from working?
Give me a scholar check. And what did you ask about, Joe? I missed that.
If they were either the
Chris is able to point you in the right direction. He's been keeping an eye. The tracks head down the left corridor.
And possibility in this, because I need to know. That's 17 for Scholars 11, it's 15.
15. Right. You don't know a huge amount about the metaphysics of Aysle yet. But in your mind, perhaps there are thoughts forming and facts that you did not know before. Aysle is a patchwork realm. It is a realm of light and a realm of dark. If you had to guess, you would say that the ring that you found is possibly of the dark, and that the wand you have just picked up is almost certainly of the light. I mean, these things can even manifest in people. For example, the Shadow Step perk is a darkness perk, whereas I think Pat has got one. The Radiant perk, which Pat has, is of the light.
Yeah.
So
No.
that is probably the only thing you can think of that could be
So,
at
like,
work.
they basically cancel each other out, don't they? Is that the way it works?
You think that hypothesis is probably correct. Essentially, while you're invisible, you touched the wand and it may have short-circuited the effect.
So, if I know that this person has light, I'll give them the wand and say, have a go with this. Then when they take it off me, I check the ring, see if it works again, but no one's looking.
Okay, give me a spirit check.
I'd love to know where the spirit check is, but here we go. Oh my god! Does 20 mean a reroll?
No, because there's no skill involved in it, unless you've got the willpower skill.
No, I don't see willpower on my skill. Okay, that's 20 plus 20 is 7 plus spirits 11, 18.
Okay, seems to be working fine.
Don't like this.
You got quite a good roll on that. I'll just let you know that you are feeling that the ring has had an effect on you.
It has had no effect on me?
It has had an effect on you.
An effect.
You are aware, although you aren't necessarily thinking it's a bad thing, the more darkness perks you have, the closer to the darkness you are. If you have too many darkness perks, you fall to the darkness.
Ah, okay, I heard about this.
and what
Okay.
happens then? Do you?
You become an NPC.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh.
That's what
Ring Wraith, Nazgul, Humanity Loss in Vampire, Fall into the Rage in Werewolf, all these things are possible. But there are anti-heroes as well as heroes, which is why having a certain number of darkness perks does happen.
I like the darkness. They can't see me. My
And you
precious.
suspect that with more use comes more risk.
Oh. Don't like that word. R-I-S-K.
Chris leads you down the right-hand tunnel. And as I said, it begins to become more rough-hewn stone corridors. bizarre markings you can see them crudely etched into the walls. Some corridor sections you pass through feature blazing torches, or a couple of times there are piles of unidentifiable material just set aflame in the distance in a sort of an ad hoc brazier to provide a dim light. You're about 10 feet into a widening of the corridor when you notice that the walls are covered in thick webbing. The room ahead is much more like a large natural cavern than the halls that preceded it. And as you raise your lights up, you can see strange stalactites covered in webbing hanging down above your head.
Webbing as in spider webs?
As in spider webs. A couple of these are within reach. Chris reaches up with a sword that he recovered from earlier and prods, and the reaction shows those aren't stalactites at all, but they appear to be the desiccated bodies of lurks wrapped in webbing.
Burn this place.
As you say those words,
No, don't burn
a
it.
tittering voice rings out from the dark, distant reaches of the room. More warm guests, sisters. Ahead of you in the dark, large arachnid shapes move in the far shadows, and the light of your torches reflects back from hundreds of tiny black eyes. Lilting voices make excited noises off in the shadows that sound like Nibikrid. That's Nibikrid. And the noise of skittering legs echoes in the dark.
I think I do a response called Fireball!
And as it is 10:45, we are going to leave it there with
Cliffhanger.
the beginning of the dramatic skill resolution that you will need to complete to get out of the room.
So, have we finished an act now? Or...
No, this is the last bit, and then you finish the act. So I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you the advance now, because I don't want to have a dramatic skill resolution and then the end of the act. We're going to go, right, it's effectively the end of the act now. What this means is, before you begin the dramatic skill resolution, you're anybody with more than 4 cards discards down to 4. Anybody with less than 4 cards. Anyone got less than 4 cards?
Yeah, I got 2.
Okay, we draw back up to 4.